dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for the
Welcome to this edition of Identity Block's Blockchain Trends. Today we're just going to hang out of the Pulse-Chain Foundation community and on Twitter, and then we're going to have just random questions. So guys, you're opened to come and hang out with us. The like I said, the space is opened to questions. I called it the pulsechain.com 101. So if anyone has basics, we want to hear about that, the basic of the basics. If not, just fun and hang out here on Saturday. Probably stay here for maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours. Some of the guys have some things to do, and we'll play it by ear. All right. Sorry, guys. I think that I guess I was. this. No sound. Sorry about that. I had you guys muted on the other side. There you go. You see, hopefully you can hear us now. Let me know if it's working. GC617. And then
I think we're going to have a hard time competing against some of these other spaces going on right now. It's crazy.
Sounds fine on YouTube.
Awesome. There's a what, like, I'm talking about prizes and stuff, or what are the
No, there's freaking Israel is getting freaking cruise missiles being sent to it from Iran right now.
oh shit.
Yeah.
So okay, Buck's going there right now, so I think it's all. This might be all just a hoax. You see, the stock market crashed before any of this happened. It's all
Yeah.
planned.
It's going to be a crazy Monday for sure.
They've been needing this though for a minute. They keep ignoring that recession. You keep saying no recession. No recession last 4 years.
Yeah. That's not true.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like this whole like transitory. I used to joke that transitory was gonna be us transitioning from like the steak aisle to like the hot dog aisle. And now the other day I checked like the Angus hot dogs I used to get, bro. They're like $8 now. I'm like, damn, bro. Like I used to get hot dogs to like, like that was the cheap meal for the for the week.
Yeah. I actually had rice and beans the other day.
Nice, bro. I haven't had rice and beans forever. I
So
cannot
tasty.
find rice and beans here. The closest thing is they have like Hawaii Bros. So they do the rice and it tastes like crap because they don't season it. They do it unseasoned. They just cook it. It's like, dude, it's so easy to cook rice, man. Make it right.
Yeah. I made a bean soup with the leftover ham from Easter, right?
Nice. There you go.
And then I made it super like brothy, and then I took some of that broth and I made the
Oh, dude,
rice.
you made like fancy beans and stuff, bro. I'm talking
Yeah,
like
I took
just
that
open the
rice,
can and dumping it.
made the rice with some of the soup broth. Oh my god, dude, so
There you go.
tasty.
You see, that's like the Puerto Rican way, because then at that point you're like, it's called como arroz guisado. So it's like the rice just cooks. You flavor the water, and you put the color in the water, and you maybe you throw some, a little bit of herbs and stuff. And our side, what we do is we throw a sofrito. And sofrito, that thing's got everything. It's gonna have a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion, a little bit of cilantro, and then some people like it spicy, so at that point you throw the spicy there, or just it's called like ají picante. So it's not like a ghost pepper, but it's up there, one of the spicy ones. But then when you cook all that stuff, it just burns the spices. It just leaves the little pepper flavor. And oh man! But then you throw the water, and then the water absorbs all that flavoring. And then it just, as it boils down, it leaves the rice with a little like yellowy color, and it absorbs all that flavoring. It's bro. But here, I can't find it, bro. Florida, anywhere, Boston, New York, Chicago, anywhere. Even Texas, the last like 5 years, I've heard that there's been a bunch of Puerto Rican restaurants, but Midwest is everything's like Mexican restaurants and that's it. None of the good stuff.
The Mexican pink rice is pretty good, but
It's okay, but you see they do it like spicy. I don't like the spicy. I control my spice. Like I like really spicy sauce, but I like to throw it in there per bite. That way, if it's like too much, then my next 2 or 3 bites have no spice, and then it kind of evens it out. But if you throw that stuff in the food, every bite that you take, it's
that is true.
spicy. So I prefer it that way because yeah, there's the I used to like eat sriracha, just throw sriracha in everything, but it was like that. I would just have the sriracha on one side and then panadas or this or tacos or whatever. But yeah, no man, I haven't had a good meal like that here in I mean the last restaurant that I went that had like the full like rice, beans, and a big old steak. Sheesh, probably like a year and a half ago. So then here I had to just like go to like Longhorn and get the steak or do this and that. So it's just easier to just try to cook it at home. And then the last, I want to say 3 or 4 months, I just don't get the rice that I like. It's always like long grain or this grain or jasmine or basmati. And I'm picky with rice. I like it. I like the mid grain.
Get some sushi rice. Then get some black rice. Get in your rice cooker. It'll turn all purple. Sticky.
Nice. So what you guys been up to? I haven't even checked much of the markets or nothing because it's been like in the closing on the tax season. Just like have one more
Yeah,
return. That's it.
that's probably got you pretty busy, huh?
It happened, but this last week we kind of chilled down. I have like one more client I'm done. I need to go on vacation, man. I need to get the F out.
Today's a good day to look at the markets.
No, I'm not touching the markets. The Fortune 4, whatever they are now. I might start investing in silver. That's like 2 or 3 months. I was thinking of silver, and I got a few of them. It's like, man, I wish I would have got a couple more coins, like 23 and 24. But I just don't see it pumping like how everyone thinks. You know that everyone's thinking that silver's just gonna go up like 4 or 5x.
A lot of people, the analysts, are watching the sale at Costco now.
Bullion? They're selling silver bullion at Costco.
They're selling, I think, silver for sure, gold, but they're watching. That's like an indicator that they're using now.
I saw a
Selling-
YouTube short or a
Yes,
Twitter
please,
short
Nico.
video where this guy was explaining how he purchased an ounce of gold at Costco, and it was kind of cool, like the inconspicuous packaging that they give you. You know,
I see. But I mean, that's what I get because I order from like AP Mex, and this like I mean, the guy sent me something. It looks like a little Amazon package. You know what I mean? Like what you do is like obviously you don't buy like a pound of anything. You know, you just get like
Silver
5.
Eagles. Get
Yeah,
your
just-
Silver Eagles. Forget those bars. Those bars are bad resale. Silver Eagle 1 ounce. It's the best tradable asset.
Nice.
Better than gold.
I
And
can't find
most
those
people,
Eagles anything per close to spot. They want me to pay 5 and
no,
2 and 3
well,
and
no, $5 over spot's good actually, because how they do it is APMEX,
I'm cheap,
South
bro.
Dakota. No, you can't think that way because the U.S. government charges them and then they charge you, which means you will always pay over spot unless there's a fire sale crisis at some store somewhere. You're going to pay over spot for the Silver Eagles because that's how the U.S. government sets up the ability for these companies to make money, because there's only like 12 companies in the world that can sell Silver Eagles.
Right.
And then the other people buy it from those people. So there's like markup and then there's another markup.
But then
they're not supposed
if
to
you
lose
have
money.
to get rid of them, for whatever reason, let's say you hit $40 and then everyone in your neighborhood is like asking you about Silver Eagles. Like, hey, silver, yeah, going to $800. So when you're about to get rid of them, will you get that margin though? That markup?
People respect buying Silver Eagles over junk silver or bar silver, and so you can always sell them for markup. However, the issue lies in if you have to do like shipping, or there's fees eBay, for example, has an eBay fee and then a shipping fee. So you're going to want to move multiples. You can't just
in 21
one of them. You better start selling 10s or 20s of them in order to get the amount.
The last like, oh yeah. I was gonna say the last time that I did like a big sale, like it was like maybe like 200 ounces or something. It was, what I did notice that when I would take them coins, and they weren't Eagles, they were just coins, so they could be just rounds from anywhere. They had like Canadian rounds, like Maple Leafs. I had all kinds of stuff, but they did like, they kind of fought me less for those. And I did had a couple like 10-ounce bars that they were giving me shit about.
You might go below spot. Yeah, you might go below spot on bars and on junk silver.
The only thing that saved me was like APMEX, they give you all these, the certificates and everything. So I was able to like give them like the screenshots of my sale and like basically like the pictures of everything. And so the guy didn't fight me. He just gave me spot, no problem. But, he did, he did mention the Eagles too. He said, "Yeah, we buy those always."
It's the most trusted one.
Nice. I haven't messed with metals for 4 years.
And there's gold, like 1/10 of an ounce of gold. That's kind of comparable. But the problem is they charge so much extra markup for the 1/10 of an ounces. So it's really, you gotta. Do you want to get hurt on the 1/10 of an ounce, or do you want to go for silver? You'd rather go for silver than gold if you want to do small sizes like the 1 ounce silver. But I tried to do it, but when I was doing it, I made a good amount of money on it. It's just that was way back when silver pumped to like 40 something bucks. We're way below that, right? So the silver market's been dead for like a decade. It's coming back a little bit, but who knows?
That's the thing. It's like every time I hear those,
it's really hard. It's just really hard to make money with silver and gold, like real money anymore. Like if it pumped to 20 to 40 bucks and you could sell it for 35, if it's 40 and you're like, all right, there's some, that might take years for that to happen. We could do that on BlockChain in a day, right? So that's
what helped me in 2020. I'm telling you, the end of 2020. Well, not even the end. It was the summer. The summer, maybe July or August. Everyone kept like messaging me because they were like, "I think silver's going to $50." I said, and I was like, "What?" And it was like the silver that had dumped to like 13, 14, and then like the markup and the premium was maybe like $5 or $6, so nobody could get it under $20. But at like 19 and $20, I loaded up, and then it didn't make that much. It was like buy it at 20, dump it at 30. But at 30, it was like everyone just telling me like, yeah, no, I think $50. I was like, yeah, I need to get the fuck out.
Yeah,
and all that money went into Hex pre big payday.
You what?
If you can get a 50% return on like a silver or gold, that's a lot of money. Yeah, they just don't move that
No,
fast.
I mean, it went into hex though. It's a fucking t-shirt right now. This thing hasn't paid out yet. Yeah, like it hasn't paid out yet because and obviously we're down now. So obviously in September of 21, it was an amazing move or whatever. But if I had stayed in silver, like I would have been down at some points because from 30 it went down however much. So I would have gone down plus waited the 4 years. So with that, like I said, it converted into t-shirts that multiplied. And I mean, that got a copy also in the fork, and it got, so there's t-shirts in 4 chains. Obviously the POW and the other one are dead, but at one point it was all this extra money that by taking that chance though, because I knew, like I said, it's just at that point I was just getting so many questions from like everyone just like, yeah, I think silver this and silver that. I was like, yeah, I think silver's going down like a freaking meteor. And it did, because it never, I mean, I don't even think it hit $35. Like by the end of 21, it was already, not even 21, by the end of 2020, it was already dumping. And I got super lucky because I found a local dealer. And then once I showed him, like I said, the stuff that I was buying, and that I could show him the receipts, the proof, the picture, everything. And then he would just like, boom, 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 check him real quick on with his, the metals, whatever thing, like a little machine. And then he was loving it. So I went there like 3 or 4 days. And I was like, all right, here you go. Here you go. I remember him asking me, he's like, why are you selling all this stuff? Like, it looks like we're going like higher and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, it's just, I had to fix my car. I had to do. I just remember thinking, if I tell this dude that I'm dumping all this silver into my crypto, he's gonna fucking mock me. He's gonna think I'm stupid. Because through 2020, crypto was, I mean, it was dead, bro. Like it was dead. Like it was that was the only reason I was putting some of my money into metals, because like Bitcoin was going under 4K and everything was the end of crypto. 2020.
The funny thing is, a lot of people are trying to compare 2024 to 2021, and I'm like, well, I
Really?
realize we're not even to the halving yet, and you guys are thinking bull market's over. Okay, interesting.
So to what year are you comparing it then?
I don't think we need to compare it to anything. I mean,
Oh, gotcha. Great point. Of course.
I'm a person that's like, anything that happened in the past was pre ETFs, and post
There you
ETF
go. Good point.
is like we're getting 7,000. Like yesterday, I guess BlackRock bought 100 million Bitcoin.
Dude, I saw that.
Bucks.
You saw
Like that's
like a
just pocket
billion.
change, right? They dump it right now. Good, they're gonna grab it, and you're just giving it away at these cheap prices.
And
So
they're
they're gonna be
liquidating, bro, like
what to
$500
do.
million every other day. Like that's the one that a lot of people are looking at. A lot
They
of
can
people
buy
are
$1
like
billion
looking at the
a
ETFs
day.
over here, but
They can literally buy $1 billion a day if they have to get it all. I mean,
and then
but
liquidating people up and down, left and right.
yeah, that's the fun part, I guess. Yeah, 800 million liquidation.
I
Yeah,
saw that.
I don't know why people don't comprehend. Like, though you're looking at a 2015 chart and you're thinking 2024 is going to play out like 2015. You're like,
Right. Good point.
no,
Yeah,
there
we
were
have so
no
much.
people. There were no people in crypto. There was no
Right.
money in crypto. There were no banksters here. None of the ETFs buying. Like literally, the move right now that we're gonna see is gonna be about. Okay, let's do the quick math. I think it's about 430 bitcoins, right, a day is what we're gonna lose in inflation rewards paid to miners, which is
Wow.
not a
6 days,
lot.
guys.
That's not a lot compared to the the ETFs are eating 7,000 Bitcoins a day.
6
So
days.
demand trumps inflation, and that's why we hit higher than ever in the price of Bitcoin before even the halving, because now the halving used to be important. It used to be, wow, we need to cut supply, so the miners stop dumping. But now it's like, well, the miners could dump every single day, and the ETFs would just pick it
Eat
up.
it up.
It's different. We've never had this
Dude, I
before.
can't wait for like Grayscale to run out of money here in like 3 months. It's gonna be, imagine they're gonna run out of
Yeah.
money, and then we have the halving at the same time, and then it's like, all right, now it's all ETF inflow.
If you get Fidelity, who has an ETF, to get companies, all we need now is companies to put it on their 401k plans. That's the very last thing you
Right.
need. Once that happens, it's auto buy every week. Auto buy Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Unlimited funds of retired people paying for retirement for the next 60 years into their 401ks is
Yeah.
going to auto buy Bitcoin. And
I fought that for
they don't.
10 years. The last, like, everyone always
Yeah.
telling me, like, oh, big money's coming, big money. I was like, I don't
Well,
want that, man. And now it's like, well, they're in.
you don't.
Pump my
No, but
bags.
not only that, there's MicroStrategy, which, whether you like Sailor or not, he's probably going to get listed on the S&P 500. So even though you might not get an ETF in a 401k, the 401ks buy the S&P 500, and if he's one of the 500, and if he's taking his shares and buying Bitcoin with it, that means that you are buying Bitcoin through the MicroStrategy, which is going to be in your 401k through being a part of the S&P 500, which will be one of the funds that you're going to be selecting. So that what do they do every 3 months or something? They look at the S&P 500 and rebalance it depending on what company is bigger than another company. So they're going to kick somebody out. They're going to put MicroStrategy in, and MicroStrategy now is going to get buy pressure that it's never had before, which is going to, pump it up, and they're going to take that money and they're going to buy Bitcoin. It just keeps going and going. And other companies might decide to do the same thing. You never know.
Yes, they need to do it buying Hex, though. They
Well,
need to have
you
some
can
type
front
of
run
real
that.
world
You can
asset on
front run
Pulse
that,
Chain
though.
that buys more Hex. Just
I mean,
saying. I'm throwing it out
you-
there. It's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen like soon, like super soon. Because we're gonna try to do it. We're gonna try to remember the other thing that we were trying like a couple of weeks ago, and it went pretty good. Like, we launched it, and like there was a lot of mints, way more than I ended up thinking that I could get for, as little as we ended up talking about. And we won all that money to go back and start buying Hex and locking Hex, not like just buying and have freaking liquid everywhere. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You have to have a talk. So Triplet, you might have to help with that.
I'll help any way I can, bud. Whatever you're doing.
Thank you, brother. I just want to buy more Hex. I want more platforms that are designed to like buy and lock Hex. That's it.
Our platform will be doing that soon.
Bro, like that was like I've been reading that, so that's the one that's missing, right? So that's why I don't know much about it, because it's just that's not there yet.
It's on. We've done some stuff on testnet, right? But yeah,
Sweet. But I
allowing
like the. Sorry, yeah. Please go.
allowing everybody to put their hex together and get the bigger pays better bonus is pretty cool. And then splitting the gas fees at the end is very cool.
I like that you guys are doing that of going to Ethereum as well, because at some point we're gonna need it. Like some of us, and I know that people freaking hate EHEX, so it's like, man, some of us are big fucking backs of the thing. Like, we cannot let it die, guys. We cannot let it die.
My last buy was EHEX.
I see.
So I like
Can't let the thing
VHEX,
die, brother.
and you have a 15-year rolling market of hex
Yep.
on Ethereum. You have stakes coming out every day for the next 15 years. Why fade that?
I'm hoping that something happens and they finally decide to lower their gas over there too.
Would be nice.
So if I understood correctly, whenever you guys lock up on the MCR platform, at some point you guys are gonna do something to bridge to Ethereum, or how? Like I didn't read that right, or I'm not sure.
So it doesn't bridge to Ethereum; it just stays on Ethereum. So you have the option, of course, of bridging it on your own. But what we're saying is Hex on Ethereum is not dead. All it needs is an affordable way to transact.
Oh no! Sorry about that. Not on Hex, but the actual MCR token. Like
Oh yeah. So we
at some point
originally
I read that.
we were gonna do two tokens, right?
Gotcha.
So we were gonna do two tokens, an Ethereum version and a Pulse Chain version. And we decided, since everything on Ethereum is a little harder to get it rolling, right? To get that project out, we gave everybody their tokens on Pulse Chain, and those tokens will work on Ethereum once Ethereum goes live. So we doubled the amount of tokens. Yeah, we doubled the amount of tokens on Pulse Chain. We gave them to everybody. And when Ethereum stuff goes live, they can move it over there in the same. So you'll be able to ratio your own stuff. So if yield and gas fees are getting more attractive on Ethereum, you can move it over.
So it's not gonna be like a MCR. It's just gonna be the same one. So if I have MCR,
Same on both chains. Yep. Just a bridged version.
dude, I like that.
That's one of our favorite things.
I like that. I think we need so many bridges because, dude, these regulators every so often there's a fart in the wind and they're like, you need to like shut down for 3 weeks so that we can like. It's like, dude, it's like I have all this money over here, like I can't just take a break and like not use the chains. And I think that's the only screw up that we had in crypto. Is like for the last like 4 or 5 years, we gave so much powers to Coinbase and to Binance and to all this middleman, instead of building platforms that would go straight, peer to peer. Just hey, I got this McDonald tokens and I want some chicken tendies. And then you negotiate directly with McDonald's, no bank, no nothing, and then we screwed up. Like Post DCA was saying, I mean, like in 2014, there was way more people willing, meaning merchants, willing to like take your crypto, and actually take your crypto, meaning either take like a paper wallet or take like a transfer of crypto, even if it wasn't an actual verification. So even if they weren't like, even if they weren't verifying transactions, at least they would accept your crypto. And then once it confirmed that they had it, then that was it. The transaction was done. But I mean, I haven't had a merchant accept my crypto. I mean, I want to say like 5 or 6 years now. Because everywhere that I've been, they says, "Oh, we accept." Yes.
There is one exception to that. There's been a massive adoption of crypto payments in the online purchasing of gold and silver. Yeah,
There you go. Exactly. Like that was the last time I used it. Like I actually went to APMEX and bought metals directly with crypto.
That was the last time I used my crypto directly. That I was like sending them crypto or using my crypto in units, not some type of buy. What is it called? Buy pay, buy BitPay, whatever. Like any of these, like what was that other card that I had back in the day from Coinbase? Still have it, man. I don't remember now.
Yeah, that stuff and like Plaid and stuff, those guys juice you for fees, right? So that's cool if they take it direct.
Yeah.
The other
But you
thing
see, I
that
don't
those
trust.
guys
I
were
don't trust
doing,
that company either, though, bro. Like that company, they're everywhere. They're like the middleman between us and the bank for every other platform that I have, including platforms that I don't even use anymore.
I agree, but I hate those guys.
At one point, my bank decided to do this little update that they did on online banking, and just because they had this extra like 2FA, Plaid was like, "Oh well, you're fucked," and I was like, "Ah." What? I was like, I didn't do anything. They're like, yeah, but we can't link. So I was like, all right, well, and I'll never do that again. As much as I didn't want to do KYC all over the place, like I want to say last year, I was like, all right, I'm going to do KYC everywhere. I was like, fuck it, you know. And I went and got cards with Venmo, Snap, Cash App. Oh man, like I mean, crypto.com, Kraken. I mean, I ended up getting like 8 or 9 cards because I was like, yeah, they're never gonna freeze me out again. Last time Coinbase freezed me out because I gave them the wrong email. I was like, wait, what? And then they had me locked out of my account for like 40 days. And not one of them told me that the issue was that I failed verification. I wanted to like snap on someone because I was like, guys, I've worked, I've worked in loss prevention. I know it's important not to tell someone the steps of how to verify an account. But if someone fails a fucking verification, you're supposed to tell them, hey, moron, you failed the verification. And then I would have been like, oh, right, because that's not the right email. Instead, like for like a month, they were treating me like I was like trying to scam myself out of like $200. I bet if it's the fucking $100 million for fucking Shohei Otani to go and gamble the fucking thing, they would have been like, yes, sir, here you go. But since they're trying to protect like $200 in crypto.
What a wreck.
Oh
You know,
man.
one of the other things that those guys they're doing over in at the Costco is they're using cards that have cash back or I mean, like they give you cash rewards, so it absorbs some of the fees. There's been some guys that put some pretty decent game theory together with that. So you're getting it a little bit less than everybody.
Good old Costco. I haven't been to Costco in years, probably 3 years, I think.
I love Costco, bro.
Oh man, me too. In PR, that we had Costco and Sam's. My family would go to both places. I was like, you guys are morons. It
That's
was
a
like on the
$500
same
day
mall.
right there.
Oh, dude, it was like fucking 6 hour days that it was. So we had to like
Yeah.
sit there and. But I wonder why was it that we would go? I think it was just like I think it was like my family, like mom, dad had one membership, and then grandma and grandpa had the other one. So they just would like, because back then you just kind of like would flash it there in the entrance, and then like your neighbor could go in.
Right.
that later started scanning and doing all kinds of stuff.
Shout out to all the pulse being burned right now and the transaction fees.
Are transactions pumping? And what is it? People just like dumping like this at whatever price point. I think I learned my lesson on that like day 1 or day 2 when we launched, and a lot of people were just hitting the automatic button on the gas, and I was telling everyone just do advanced gas control because you'll be able to save some money because the gas was just fluctuating so much. Like at one point, a tiny transaction could I think it pumped all the way up to like 1 million pulls. I'm sure at one point, even mints for like Jack's tokens and all that stuff, and
when
then
that
all
happened,
that.
somebody paid 10 million to do some stupid mint on something.
Oh no! How is it that they didn't figure that token out? That like the only way to win was like you have to mint this thing when it's like ultimate dead gas, and then extend it as long as possible. It was like, I think I figured it out because of what happened to us in Hex in 2020. Remember they were doing like the little rolling stakes, and then all of a sudden the gas ate up all our gains. I was like, oh, it's just like that. So, I mean, I threw a couple bucks into that thing, but then I threw it so far in the future that they're not done yet. We'll see, because I was trying to look for a strategy to like get me more pulse. And I was thinking if we're like middle of like the SEC FUD, and then other tokens pump, then I can get like the dump of pulse at the same time as these other tokens are pumping. Maybe like Jack gets his thing out at the same time, and he gets that FOMO, and then I can turn that into more pulse.
Are you ahead, bud? Are you up on that strategy?
Yeah, it's actually been working. It's just like the problem I noticed with Descent is like there's people that are buying it though. Like if you buy like always going down coin, then your purchasing power is always going to be going down. But what I figured out is I was minting it on days that the thing would cost me like 10 and 15 cents. It was like 2,000 and 3,000 units of pulse, and then you would just throw it 400 something days. And then the thing would give you like 4 or whatever billion units of the cent. And then my thinking, like I said, is like at that point it was already like a 6 and 8x. And my thinking is, well, if Jax figures it out, maybe does another 10x, that would be like a 60x. And I could then, like I said, flip it back and then just get me pulse, especially even more if it's.
Should have just bought ink, man. You should have bought ink. That would have been better.
There you go. And I had my little bag of ink doing its thing.
Yeah. 225x's while people are all distracted trying to earn something somehow.
Yeah, no, through the bear market though, it's just I threw like 3 and 4 different strategies at the same time. It's like I don't know what's gonna work. I knew the sacrifices I couldn't control, so I got away from that. And I was just like, all right, it's Hedron, Icosa, Hex. I was like, what can I get that tomorrow they turn off the lights and this thing is still minting me more shit? So I was like, I try to get it as basic as possible.
Yeah, everything's dumping right now. Holy moly.
God dang it. And I'm like, I got no fucking dry powder. I hate when this happens. You have like no dry powder to like be like, all right, I'm gonna deploy like all this money. Because the thing is like how much to deploy to. You know what, maybe on DCA a little.
Yeah, a lot of people in our community was deploying yesterday, and then the market nuked today, you know, because we actually nuked a little early.
Gotcha.
Thanks to that capitulator. Oh, he might have known something. Interesting.
I'm glad that we had the PDI thing, because I started like telling everyone just like be careful, just DCA into this thing, because I was like, yeah, never just throw a bunch of money into anything. And it's just that PDI can just dump so hardcore too.
Yeah, it's very volatile. I have like a handful of stuff that I buy. every day, right? And I just take the loan token stuff, the rewards that I get, right? And I buy the one with the reddest candle.
There you go.
And,
I like that idea. At that point, you're taking, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that approach.
I like to buy something that I want to dump on their head later. So right now I'm buying some Ethereum, because Ethereum is almost hitting the 200-day. It's like really bloody. I don't know how far it goes, but I'm going to buy more ETH so I can dump it on their head later. And then, even Solana's in the 120s, 130s. I don't know if that's good or bad. I rarely buy Solana, but if I want to dump on somebody's head, Solana is probably a good choice. So we'll see. I'm not buying a lot of that though. I actually did that a long time ago. It was a better strategy when it was like very cheap, like single double digit, Solana. Then you ride it up
Nice.
10, 20x. That's where I get some
What are your
good
thoughts
gains.
on this thing with XRP? Remember, like, how many years did we hear that XRP was going to be used by the banks, and now
They're in
XRP is
trouble,
launching
man.
a stable?
They're launching their stable, just like I said. Like their coin cannot be used by banks. Banks have to use stablecoin.
They actually
So
became a little smarter than I
their
thought,
whole
because
use
what I
case
thought it
is
was going to happen is the
dumb.
banks were going to launch the stables, and then XRP was just going to. I mean, Ripple was going to become useless for the banks, even the X Rapid part. Because I was like, all right, well, now the banks have their own stable, so who cares? And they actually created their own. They became a little
It means
smart.
that the banks, in a way, but that just means the banks didn't adopt them, right? So what they were trying to play the
Oh yeah,
game of was,
exactly.
hey, we got adoption here, we got this bank adoption
Oh
here.
fuck
Let's
that! No, I
go.
was always in the camp that, like, every time I would hear that shit, I would go and check the article, because there was always an article that would say bank accepts Ripple or whatever the fuck, and then you're like, ooh, and then you go and read, chapter freaking, paragraph 2, and it would always be like X Rapid or some of the other products that they have. But then on Twitter and everything, like, all you see is like the picture that says Bank XYC does a deal or moves $500 or whatever in XRP. Actually, I heard the other day the Fed was moving, doing XRP settlements. I'm telling you, bro, between XRP doing that, USDC messing with BlackRock, my fucking theory that the CBDC has been launched since 2020, that thing is proven now. It's like we've had 4 years of CBDC, because everyone kept telling us like it was coming and this and that and the other fucking thing. And it's like, well, who gives a shit? The motherfuckers changed the rules 4 years ago. So it really didn't matter. It was like the fucking tool was that they accepted the fucking deal of the brokers back in, like, I guess 2021. It was when they passed that law. So it is what it is.
But other countries are going to do the ETFs. I mean, even if America doesn't, it's going to be Hong Kong putting one out probably in a couple days here for Ethereum. So you're going to start to see whether America does things or not, the rest of the world's going to move forward, and it's going to push crypto along, right? Like Chinese mining was 80 to 90% of crypto. Just like, well, 5 years ago, China basically was crypto. Now it's a little more worldwide, but guess what? Hong Kong, Japan, any of these countries can put out an ETF for Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever, and it's going to gain, more and more users. So I think, oh man, gas is pumping up on BlockChain here. Let's go. Validator shout outs.
But if they accept the ETFs, are they going to actually start accepting crypto? Is my thinking, because, like, I never had a doubt that they were going to accept this, but I remember, like, telling everyone, I was like, well, if they just approve the ETFs, if they have, I don't know, like 500 of us with $100, do they care about us like little $4 or $5 million when they can just have BlackRock in one night just buy like $1 billion effing dollars? So I don't think that they're gonna like there's like zero crypto. It's just gonna be like brokerage crypto or like derivatives and all this junk that it's not really crypto, or at least not what I got into crypto these years back.
Yeah, but what we've seen is most adoption is centralized, right? Like it's not our belief, but we're going to be able to extract money from those systems.
You know, that part I agree. I just
Like
I
we'll have
I,
a
I don't
billion
know.
users, we'll have a billion users, but they'll mostly be using banks. Like Europe's doing that, right? You're going to see Ethereum, Bitcoin. It's just going to be another little section on your bank account.
Right. Yeah, no, that that I foresaw. I mean, like years ago, like years and years ago. Because my thoughts were like, well, if we never touch the crypto and never have the keys, then it's pretty easy for the banks just to have another ledger and then just another, just like you mentioned, just another category with ones and zeros and uh, but that's just not crypto.
Yeah, we'll see if this is our retest low point because we pumped up from the SAC wallet purchases. It was about 7-ish. We pumped all the way up to almost 2x SAC, and then we're back down to the sevens, right? So is this the support zone? You know, that would be great. If not, are we going to go back down to the fours? I think people have to be ready for that. You know, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I like to think in, you know, potential opportunities. So
What
I'm
are we in the
purchasing
last
a
like two
bunch of
weeks of
pulls
shakeouts?
like right now. Yeah, I'm purchasing a bunch of pulls and pull stacks right now. But if you go to the next levels, yeah, sure, we'll go down another hair. Go back to the test SEC levels almost, right? Fours, maybe. I don't know. The guy that asked is down there in the listeners, but he's having fun with his friends. So, Lammy.
What up, Lammy? Get Lammy up here and hang out. I was hanging out with the guys when they were talking about like the 404s, but I got so busy with tax season. I had to get out of the spaces. Plus my account got frozen too, whatever the hell it did. Censored or suspended. I don't remember what the hell they told me. I hate that they suspend your stuff and they don't tell you what you did. And you're like, well, dude, I've been behaving like the last like 5 or 6 months. The hell? Right? So it's like I was posting like all kinds of like motivational stuff and I guess shit, like keeping the rants to like once per week. Nope.
Your social credit
I know,
score.
right? I was about to say, yeah, I was like the Elon credit, bro. I was like, nope. You haven't been doing right. What the fuck?
I'm gonna hop out, buddy. I got a couple things I gotta go do.
Thanks for hanging out, Triplet. We'll
Thanks for-
we'll have a private talk because, bro, like I said, bro, I want to learn more of what you guys are doing, and I'm pretty interested. I like the platform, and then I was thinking to what I'm trying to do, something almost like so similar would work because what I'm trying to do is just divide. Obviously, instead, you guys are doing it with different assets, right? And my side, I'm just trying to like divide some of the stuff that I do in the company. And then like, once I start getting income from like tax season, then income from like franchising, and then income from like real estate, that would be divided in that type of way. The only
Right.
problem is like everything that I check, that would make it like a security. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just register it. Like, I don't care. It'll probably take a couple of years, but I was like, if I can automate that, do the automation of that process, and then it pays out like a dividend, just like you guys are, because the way you guys are doing it, I love it. That it's paying like the HOA and the Fox and the USDL and is it just gonna pay like Hex later that way, the same way, or is it?
Yeah, as soon as a steakhouse gets up and running on both chains, it'll pay Hex, Hedron, and Pulse.
Damn. So basically, right now, the name of the game is just get yourself a piece of the pool.
Yeah, get the right now. I'm even buying with my own money, MCR and Bean the Bean NFTs. That's what I'm doing.
Gotcha. Those I claim like 2 of those, like, but I haven't bought it. Like now, those are priced in Pulse though, right? So technically, the last 2 or 3 days, it's like that's the deal.
Yeah,
Right,
Pulse is a good deal, and also people
Gotcha.
who have their loan tokens staked in Barista are getting the Bean token for
Oh, I
free.
saw that.
So you can also buy them with Bean.
There you go. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was only with Pulse. Okay. Like with Bean, I was just like accumulating it, so maybe I'll turn some of those into.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I've been doing. All the Bean that I get, I turn it into NFTs.
There you go.
Once
Bro,
that
thank you
thing
so
mints
much.
out
Uh-huh.
and people know that what we're doing with those NFTs, they will go up in value.
Awesome. Okay. I'll just, yeah, now I know I'll do a little bit of swapping swapping the beans for the golden beans.
Yeah,
That's
you and I
awesome,
will
bro.
we'll have like a half hour freaking
Good deal.
one-on-one chat, and I'll break
Let's
it all
do it,
down.
brother. All
right,
right. Well, thank you so much, Triple. Have a great one.
You too, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Later, brother. Well, guys, whatever you guys want to talk about, free topic. We can talk about the baseball season. We can talk about how the fuck Ipe gambled $180 million fucking dollars. Can someone explain that to me? Unless it's some type of connection with like the Yakuza Mafia or something. Like, I mean, who has that much time? I mean, I've gambled in the past, and I mean, to gamble like $100, I needed like 8 hours of 8 hours to analyze the game, the temperature, the weather. Was it gonna rain the night before? Was the pitcher hurt? And this dude was like apparently like gambling like millions of dollars of the of Otani. Did you guys hear that story? Did you hear that story, Iko? By the way,
Guys, if you guys want to come up here, like, I don't know if it's doing the same shit as last week, but last week I wasn't getting notifications through the desktop.
I know nothing about baseball. Over
What
here,
up, Lemmy?
how you doing? I know
All
nothing
good,
about
brother.
baseball.
I love
All-
baseball, man. It's my
baseball,
thing.
baseball over here is like it's called rounders.
Do you guys play cricket over there? I think I would have been a good cricket player.
Cricket's all right. It's getting drunk on a hot Saturday afternoon. What you do at the internationals, just under the terraces, just order beer after beer after beer.
Bad stuff happening.
That happens every day. Cricket's just an excuse to get drunk. So, play softball at school for a bit. It's not a big game over here. How can you have a World Series when the whole world doesn't play?
What are your thoughts about all these people from crypto that for some reason are not publicly backing Richard right now? What's up with that shit? Because I always knew that they weren't going to back us on, on promotion. And I knew they were going to, I mean, I interviewed a bunch of people before and before the launch, and they were all like saying, we're not going to talk about this. Like I knew, like they all knew about it, but they were like, yeah, no. Which was really fucked up. But I know because everyone in the main chat kept telling us how it was going to be different this time, how they didn't like Hex, but they were going to like Pulse because it was an exact copy of Hex, and I mean, an exact copy of Ethereum. And I was like, yeah, but that's not how crypto folks work.
I think idea is that they didn't get their expected allotment of tokens. Yeah, if they got their allotment of tokens, there'll be no time of shutting them up. You know what I mean? If they got their whatever 100 billion of tokens, then they will be talking.
They should have known that Richard don't pay $5 for the trading view. You think he was gonna give it like a like, I mean, come on, man. They should have known better. The boss, he's frugal. Let's just say.
Big time. But the funny thing about it, right? Even though we laugh, I think that kind of stuff has actually been in his favor. You know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, I joke about it, but like, yeah, 100%. Hey, 1 second. Hey guys, 1 second, because I'm taking an order here. No, I just said an order. I'm taking a call.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if somebody went out there and started buying all the EHEX. Why would you need to? It went down like crazy. You could just wait these guys out, let them EES their bags, get the hex for free in the OA, and don't buy any of it, and just wait. Eventually, maybe you could pick some up, but it's a patient game, and the trading folks aren't going to wait. Like the capitulation hasn't barely started, but the guys like Crypto Face did a little stream recently. If you want to go check the clips of it, he did he was like, "What's going on with Pulse Chain? I'm in profit though." So like he looked at it, he kind of missed our pump, I guess, because he looked at it right now and he's saying, "Well, I'm just barely in profit. Should I sell? Should I dump it?" Like, but good thing you didn't check it a little while ago. He probably would have sold. But yeah, eventually some of these people's patience is going to run out, which is good.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think some people are going to see something else, whatever it is, whether the other coin has some kind of narrative that they think will be better in the long run for them. But I think this stuff is quite cyclical. You know, most people tend to do it. I mean, regardless of what asset it is, whether it's stocks and shares or something else. Um, you know, that most people can't wait for 4, 5, or 6 years. They need to see some kind of return within, some people's within 6 months or even less than that. They need to see something. I think something I said
You
to
know what's
IPF.
funny? Doug Glover, you know what's funny? The Solana VCs put their
Mhm.
money in 2018,
Yeah.
and they locked up in a vesting. So they basically were not allowed to sell their Solana. It's coming out next year, starting next year, the next year. There's a bunch of Solana coming out, and a
Mhm.
lot of it was vested. So even the stuff in the bankruptcy with FTX, I believe a lot of that's vested. Um, and so if you think about being a venture capitalist, they locked it up for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years in order to get the Solana at 20 cents that they got, right? So yeah, they did get Solana at 20 cents, but they're not able to sell at these like 200, it went up last, like, what was it? The top was, I think, $250.
Yeah.
They couldn't sell nothing. They were locked. So this is why they will keep promoting Solana, whether you like it or not, because they
Gotcha.
haven't even cashed out yet, and they're some of the big players in the industry, like Coinbase. You know what I mean?
And that's quite unusual for many venture capitalists. It's usually kind of like
Normal
around the 5 year
investors,
kind of mark, you know?
yes, but normal investor couldn't handle it, right?
That's
We
right.
we
That's
don't
right.
want to invest in something for like what you were saying. Are we going to invest for 6 months? They're trying to invest for like massive gains over the course of 5, 10 years. And I think, I don't know, they probably signed some crazy. It seems like they got a little bit of the raw end of it because it's really long,
Mhm.
but they sure got some favorable rates to get in. The one was 4 cents. I mean, the first people who started putting money in was at 4 cents.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
At some point, not long from now, Richard's going to put on a Rolex. He's going to sit on his throne. He's going to turn his computer and talk to the world, and
Yep.
everybody will be rattled because they've dumped.
And they're not going to get 100 million pulse anymore. They're going to get 5 million.
Yeah,
That's the crazy part. When you look back, you're like, I could have had thousands of Bitcoins.
yeah. Unless you're there for the first 5 seconds of that stream, you get that notification he's gone live. It'll be launch. And we never go up, and nothing ever goes straight up from a bottom. We always go up, we always come down, retest, and go from there. Look at Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Bitcoin did it twice before the last cycle. Comes up, retests, and then goes. Flush people out.
I think what kind of happens in the meantime as well is that while the coins with longevity go up and go down, it's that in the meantime you're going to have some of these other coins that are just going to be here for maybe 6 months or maybe 3 months. They're in the limelight. They're the biggest, they're the baddest thing. People have got to get into it. And then it just cycles again. Another one comes and it needs to be in. Another one comes. And so for for some, they're always chasing, even though, you've got the narrative of, um, you know, buy and hold or whatever, hodl for God knows how long, in 60, 2016, 17, 18 or whatever, and then along comes Richard Hart and says, well, look, hold for the future, buy now and just hold for the future. You're gonna get your, even if the price stays the same, you're gonna get, yield, you're gonna get extra coins. That seemed to be okay for some, but then once the shiny coins come around, the new coins come around again, people peel off. They're looking for very quick gains, you know, and it just peels off again. And I think, it's going to be sad, but I still think 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, it's still going to be the same kind of thing, regardless of whatever a coin it is, it's still going to be the same thing where, new coins come, new products come, and they have to attract new users. However way they can do it, burning, destroying coins in some kind of weird and wonderful way, having some kind of tax, whatever it is, it's always going to be something new, which is going to try and support coin go up without the utility. And I think that's the thing that's a little bit sad at the moment. It just comes across to me a little bit like the ICO mania of way back, where it didn't matter what the project was going to do, as long as it sounded like it was going to make money, it got money. And I think that's very similar now to some of the meme stuff that's happening. Because some of the meme stuff now don't even have any narrative behind them, like some kind of nice picture, you know, or anything like that. Now it's just maybe some strange name, and then you got a few people pumping it, and then loads of people go in, and then they get burnt coming back out. But it's still going to happen because everyone thinks they're the one who can make the 100x, the 1000x, which is the sorts of magnitude of rises that only very few people attain. But for some reason, many of us think, and I say us, we all started from some point. Many people feel it's going to be them. It's they're the one that's going to be part of it, even if they don't get the 1000x. Oh, I'll be okay with a 50x. I've surely got to get a 50x. Until they realize later on that they were liquidity for those that were there before them. But most people learn later on, once they've been burnt maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 times. And I think that's quite sad. Once you've been in a little while and you see the same kind of cycle occurring, and even if you see other people, other influencers trying to educate folks, you'll find that those are the ones that do not have the numbers. The ones that have the numbers are the ones that are telling folks you can get rich on these 5 coins for this week, and next week it's another 3 or 4 coins, and then it keeps going and it keeps going. It's one of those things. I don't see what the solution is. I thought maybe Richard Hart and a few other projects will then start doing the same thing, where they have whatever kind of tokenomics to make folks kind of hold, and then reap the benefits in the future. I thought it would spawn a few more things like that. I'm not saying a cookie cutter of Hex. I'm just saying someone else comes out with some other kind of tokenomics that kind of rewards people for holding, But it doesn't seem to be that's going to be the way. It seems to be it's going to be, come over here and you'll get your 100x. Come over here, you'll get your, you're going to be rich. And I don't see. It might sound really bad. It might sound really, negative. But I think a lot of people are going to get burnt in the short term before folks start realizing that they do need to think. They do need to do a little bit of due diligence. They do need to think to themselves, can I lose this money? Because I think most people may go in with a short amount of money, whatever, $100, whatever they can afford, maybe to lose slightly. But then the bug hits and it's like, oh, that went up by, I don't know, 2x. Oh, you know what? If I get together 5 grand, 10 grand, man, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna have 100 grand or 400 grand by the time that runs its course. And I think that then causes folks, when they start putting money in that they cannot afford to lose, that's when it can really, really be devastating for some people. And what you find is those people who do well, they're the ones that are the loudest. The folks that do not do well, and they're the ones that have lost a lot of money, and maybe may have caused issues with family members that they've also enticed to come with them, relationships with girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, maybe issues with work. However, they're not going in and not doing their work because they're always on their phone, looking at price and blah blah blah. You know, that kind of stuff is doesn't get spoken about because those guys aren't going to come on stream and start talking about things to educate others. They will only do that once they have sorted themselves out and they're back on their feet and maybe they are doing well. Then they will discuss what's happened to them in the past. But by that time, year, 2 years, 3 years, another bunch of folks get rinsed. It's sad, but it's I think it's one of these things that's going to continue to uh, occur. I,
Right.
you know, the only
So
thing I
I
think
had to log
mm,
into the other one because now it's not letting me. I think it's just the computer. Because
is
now
it.
I'm thinking that it's doing the same thing that it did last week. It's just not like right now. I'm trying to log in with my other account. And it just won't let me. But
So
then I
is it an
try to.
old computer? Is it
No.
like no?
I mean,
It's a beefy big boy, is
yeah,
it?
yeah, it's an old computer. Let's see, on a new computer, it's an old computer now. So it's, yeah, this one's a couple of years. But it
Oh,
shouldn't be doing this. It's just that earlier when I refreshed it, it just that's when it dropped us, on the other one, the first one that we did.
yeah.
So then I can't refresh that. I think it may be the EVM. So I think it's just the virtual machine. It's just acting up.
Oh, you run stuff in a virtual machine, you say?
Hmm.
Ah, okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. Maybe.
Sometimes maybe it just needs a little bit TLC.
Maybe if you have if you've got any time, maybe just rebuild it. Save all your things. Yeah, I don't know how much stuff you've got on there, but if you can
Almost nothing. Yeah, on this one it'll be
rebuild,
pretty easy.
and then maybe do it from scratch, and then only have some important thing. Only
Hmm.
important stuff on there, maybe.
By the way, now that let's have that conversation.
Mm.
Since that situation happened recently, guys, if you have a computer that you can just dedicate just for crypto, just try to buy that 200, $400,
Mm.
something that doesn't have to have tons of CPU, tons of RAM. It can just be basic stuff to go from point A to MetaMask to to on ramp, off ramp,
Mm.
but then to have as little as possible and then to do as little in that computer. Like this one I just use for streaming. That's why I don't remember
Okay.
last time I updated it. So it might just be that because earlier it was doing that and then it started working the second that we did the restart. But then once it froze again and I
Mm.
did it a second time, even though I was co-host, it kicked me out and it just closed it. So we only had that like 12-minute stream.
Okay. So talking about your computer, so do you try and have like a
Mhm.
separate computer laptop for when you're doing your crypto work?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
That's another thing. Try to have it in a way that you're not. Yeah, it's just we put way too much stuff in the computers, and then we serve
Mm.
things that we shouldn't, and this and then the other, and then you get keyloggers in there, and then so hopefully you
It's
have a
fun.
computer with a hard wallet. That way, if you do get compromised, you still
Mm.
have a 2FA that can protect you.
It's funny you should say that because
Mhm.
I started doing that about I think it was about 2000. What are we now? 2000. So 2000. I think beginning of 2022. I
Mhm.
started having a separate laptop to do this thing, and I wasn't too convinced, but I thought, you know what, let's do this. So it's totally separate, and I did it more for keeping me away from crypto, so that I don't
Okay.
easily kind of, let's look at this, let's look at that, and let me buy this, let me buy a little bit of that. At least I know I have to go get it, open it up, because it's, I'm not using it for anything else. But then I did find that when I started using it, I would put something else on, another thing on. I would put maybe Telegram on, and
There
another,
you go. Nope.
something else
Can't
on.
do it.
And then I
Oh, you have the
realized,
Telegram,
shit,
then do it outside of the EVM, and then you have the
yeah.
Telegram outside. Yeah, do
So
something,
that's when I
man.
realized, and then I thought, you know what? That's the whole point. The whole point is not to have these things on there, even though
Yeah.
these things might be safe. The whole point is to have minimal. So then
Yep.
I reinstalled it again, and then just have the bare minimum. And if it's I might have to have two computers out sometimes, but it does help
Mhm.
to
I mean,
just
it's
keep.
annoying. Yeah, I admit it, it's annoying because
Yeah,
most
it
of
can be.
most of the time people are in the same, so they're like on Telegram at the same time as on Twitter at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you are gonna, let's say, stream, then have that use that one for social media. So your
Mm,
streaming computer is your Telegram and your Facebook and your this and that, and the other, and your clicking link computer. Because if
mm,
at any excuse me, at any point in time, you click into something, well, I don't know, well, your Telegram got hacked or your nudes got hacked or whatever, but
mhm.
they're not like your crypto. So, how the boss used to always say, like, put your put your nudes with your seed phrases.
Mm. Do you also do a little bit of stuff on your phone, or you decided not to do that at
No,
all?
sheesh,
Mm,
I learned that lesson super early. No, but you see, I didn't do the phone because of what you just said on your computer. Because
mm,
the times that I used to do that in like 18 and all that, especially on Binance, bro, it was just wreck city. Because
mhm,
back
mhm.
then it was so easy to have it just your crypto on your phone, your portfolio on your phone, everything, and the charts. And so I
Oh, I
learned that
remember those
lesson.
days.
Yeah, no,
I
I
remember
learned that
those days
lesson.
from like
Hmm
2017, 2018, where I would be going to family functions, and
And
like
hooked up to the phone
I'll
for
be
like 3 hours. Yeah, of course. No, I learned that lesson, man.
oh
No, especially
man, wow.
especially because Binance used to have that thing with slippage that they would let you like every swap, whatever you wanted. It could be a coin with all kinds of like $5-10 million in liquidity, and then you're like swapping with a trade with a coin that has like $50 in liquidity.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you said, "Hey, I have this like $5,000," and they're like, "All right." You're like, "You want to convert $5,000 into this much? Okay, here you go, buddy."
And then when you want to come out, you find you can't get out. Yeah.
Oh no, the way it used to be, Binance wouldn't even negotiate with you. You know how like even Uni negotiates
Yeah.
with you. It tells you like, "Hey, type this, type type this little phrase over here that says like you're about to get wrecked."
So you
um,
just were wrecked straight
yeah,
away.
no, Binance would just tell you, you could have a Bitcoin at 3,000 bucks or whatever
Mm.
it was in 2017, and then yeah, it would just tell you how many coins you could get on the other side, but the coins were worthless. So you would
Yeah.
just get your coins. So on the other side, now you have your coins. But then
What
once
can you
you
do with
try
it?
to get out of those
Yeah, yeah,
coins,
yeah.
that's when like reality sets in, and you're like, oh, so that's what
That
happened.
happened. That happened to me once on the
Oh,
old
dude, it happened a
infamous
bunch of times.
Cryptopia. I remember I went
Oh,
into one coin. I
Cryptopia.
think it was called DAS or something. It was another. I can't remember if it was a
I
um,
miss Cryptopia from New
one of
Zealand.
these. What do you call it? Coins. One of these. Oh, not mine. What are they? Masternode. I think it was a Masternode
Oh,
thing.
Dash.
No, not Dash. It was called DAS. DAS.
Oh, I have no idea.
One of these copycat, and it had a
Oh,
different narrative saying it was going to give some of the fees to charity. Yeah, so so
yeah, I remember that. I remember that story in the last 2 months. Like everyone wants to give to charity. When I decided to do the charity, nobody wanted to look over here. Now everyone wants to.
yeah, but
Got
so I got in there,
oh
but then could I get out?
no, back
You know,
then it
you
was
you had
almost
this thing where
impossible.
it would say some crap like the wallet is under maintenance, something
Maintenance.
like that. Oh
I
man.
used to I used to miss that when like Cryptopia used to do that. They used to do it for like hours too. So all of a sudden you're like, you get access to your coins, and all of a sudden nothing.
Mm. But
Yeah,
as you say about the
yeah,
what do you call it, about the OPSEC and keeping yourself safe and stuff. Um, did it kind of resonate with you with the lady
yeah.
that recently lost her stuff? Yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah, so it's a bad situation. So I mean, I feel bad for Nicole. Like she's been like part of the community, now 4 years. So
Mm,
it's not nice.
jeez. Yeah. But she didn't have she did it a different way, right? She didn't use a hardware
Well, but
wallet.
it's one of those situations where the way I see it, I
Mm.
feel that some of our community members are targeting community members.
Oh,
That's the part
okay.
that I don't.
I got you. Okay.
Of course, that's a controversial part that
Yeah, yeah.
nobody will probably say, but then
Mm,
it's like, and
mhm.
that's what I think. I don't know.
The thing is as you were saying that, I was reading just before I came on stream,
Mhm.
is that it's actually, you can think, okay, it's sad and blah blah blah, but then and it kind of passes you by. A week goes or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and you don't really think about that.
Mm.
But I was just seeing where she said that she's going to have to go on some ADHD meds in order for her to concentrate to try and see if she can start looking around with the help of some other people to try and get this stuff back. And then when I kind of read that, I thought, damn. And she said she's been off certain types of medication to help herself for best part of a year, and now she's having to take this so that she can actually concentrate and focus. And I thought, wow, that hit me. That was like reality. You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
That's I don't know. It's just that's what I've been seeing for the last like 3 or 4 years. Every time
Mm.
there was some new, shiny object or
Yeah.
this or that, or so. That's how I would get so triggered sometimes, and it comes out in a negative way. People always say or think that I'm being negative or whatever, but
But
no,
then
it's
again,
trying
you
to
have
help.
kind of been vindicated because some of the I was looking earlier today over
Mhm.
just some things. I mean, there was like, I don't know if it's called um, um, PLS Bitcoin or one of these early ones, something like that.
Mhm.
And one of these early ones that was released when Postchain came out, and there was a lot of hoo-ha and stuff about it. And I'm looking back at all of these coins that are now no longer here. No one talks about, and some of them have been rugged. Some of them disappeared.
Yeah.
Some of them have been outright scams. Because there's a site that actually lists like a whole
But
load of coins that are released on Postchain, and they try and give a status on them. I can't remember what it was, if it's post list or I don't remember. And I was looking through that and just realized the amount of rugs and suspected rugs, I should say, because I don't know for sure, but suspected rugs where liquidity's been pulled and all this kind of stuff. So it's really serious. It's not, it's really serious. Even though we tend to talk about it for a minute and then we talk about something else, whatever is the limelight of the time. But yeah, there are some
yeah.
rugs, and we do need to talk and make people aware to be careful. Yeah, we might sound like old fuddies, but you do need to be careful because there are folks there that are spending their time to get your money and not
Right.
in an honest way, you know?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's projects and if, the people are going to launch and then they're thinking
Mm,
2, 3, 5, 10 year time frames, and then they're going to be building impulse and burning our pulse and burning our PLSX, then
mm,
I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here to support you and do everything that we need. Like, I mean,
gotcha.
I know in the last like 2 years, how many times I was like, arguing and all that stuff with the guys from MCR, and then I was wrong. Like I should have, just worked on all that stuff, and then like I don't know, maybe I would have like learned something, or
Mm.
But yeah, but
But do you think the
yeah.
landscape is better now? You think most
Oh,
people are you think
no,
most people now
no.
are
Oh, so no. I mean, it's just we're seeing it. We're seeing there's people falling for this shit or falling for shit in general. Like it doesn't even have to be.
oh, you mean stuff that don't even have projects behind them? You mean like things that are just kind of meme coiny type
Yeah, I mean,
stuff?
like I think. Sorry, it's just that
No
I heard
utility.
you mention it as I walked in on the other account. Excuse me, and I couldn't respond because it's just not letting me like send the request or whatever. But yeah, it's just you got it exactly. When you were saying that now it's just some random coins. There's no narrative, and yeah. At one point, you needed to have some type of narrative, like the like a little funny joke, or you needed to have some type of like you said it. I mean, you said it perfect. The picture, the funny thing, or the
Mm,
narrative, or the community, or um, so that's why I'm at this point. I'm focusing on coins or projects that are gonna be staking because at that point it's like, all right, well, the project is launched, it's
mm,
staking, and it's making me a bigger portion. I mean, that's why I'm trying to check what these guys are doing in MCR because it's like, all right, well, I get my bag as the thing is going down and people are ignoring it, and
mhm,
then in 3, 4, 5 months when the payouts start coming out at a higher higher valuation, then you did the deal. But this whole situation of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this coin and then in 2, 3 days I'm gonna dump it for this other coin. I mean, yeah, I've done that other years, and it makes it for a really bad year because you're always looking at the charts, you're always looking at your backs, you're always looking
mhm.
at something.
I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to be fair. That stuff, whatever, whatever the latest kind of coin that's making big money, with no kind of narrative and stuff, that does catch my attention because I
Mm,
do look at the chart and think, oh, okay, yeah, this is a classic. This is gonna go the way that the others. But it does get my attention because when someone or I read something that says, this coin, it's been released and it's been going for, I don't know, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you know, it's done, let's say, 1,000x, right? And it's still going up. I will look at the chart. I won't just brush it aside and think, yeah, oh, crap, I'm going to read something else. I will look and look at it. And I think, you know, it still is doing what it's designed to do. It's still pulling your head to it. You may then, once you've got there, you look at it, you may decide, but what if that chart, I'm talking about me, what if I look at that chart
mm,
and that chart is different? It's not a typical kind of pump and dump kind of looking chart. What if it does have some things that I look for or look into? Then it becomes, should I? Should I not? You know what I mean? Do I put
mhm.
1% of my bag on it and then forget about it? Yeah, it's tricky. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not holier than thou in terms of, I'm gonna, you know, just not look at any of that stuff. I do look at some of that stuff from time to time. I mean, there was one that I looked at just to understand it, and within I think it was 2 days, the thing went, the thing
Mhm.
rocked. I think you
Yeah.
know the one I'm talking about, who had a big influencer behind it.
I don't know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my
I'm
god.
not going to mention any names anyway. The reason why I'm not laughing at the coin. I'm just laughing, the fact that I
You're too
was
much.
interested in looking at it,
Mhm.
and then I thought, oh wow, maybe they've done something that's different. Maybe this thing has found some kind of formula that will last and keep going up for a period of time. But then, man, shit, give it like 24 hours and that thing went boom. And I thought, oh shit, okay. But it's one of those things anyway. It's one of those things.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
just those coins that they have this huge amount, or they have big unlock periods or something like that. I'm just not putting big amounts to them. I am using the platforms though, because the platforms are working. They're making really
Mm.
nice returns.
Gotcha. Yep.
So even the dry powder is making money, which I really, really like that, because that's something that other years, bro, like, as the prices were going down, if you had a little bag of dry powder, it could be, it could be $500, it could be a couple thousands, but then you're seeing it go down as well, so you're like, what the fuck?
Gotcha. So
So,
you're more likely your view is
mhm,
let me look at the excuse me, let me look at the product. What does your
mhm,
product do? Is it is it something I'm interested in? Is it got product fit? Okay, cool.
that-
Then I might use it. But in terms of, that same product which has its own coin and blah blah blah, you're not interested in that. Give me what can I do on this system? Can it give me
mhm,
yield by either putting my coins there or exchanging it for another coin that I
yeah.
can use and earn some yield. I gotcha.
And some of that's fees though. So there's, I think Pulse Chain's a little different, and a lot of the builders are trying to create
Mm,
user fees and then reward that to token holders. And if
mhm,
you may have to change those fees into stable coins or not, but you could, and lock in some of those rewards and then turn that into another, money making machine from there.
right.
But you're seeing like Fame, for example, did a $400,000 fee in a day, right? So whether you think it's great or not that people leverage trade, if you're collecting some of those fees from other people leverage trading,
Hmm.
depending on the entry of when you get the Fame coin, because yeah, you could buy the top on that and get wrecked because the fees will never make up for it, maybe. But if you try to get a great entry in some of these fee payout tokens, then you could potentially hold those forever and just use the yields to juice, whatever you like. And it's not inflationary based, which it becomes the next level of DeFi probably. We're doing it on Pulse Chain.
Well said. I mean, if I can get, call me greedy, but if I can get a chunk of this $10 trillion market that's coming to like real world assets, to DeFi and to crypto, like, I mean, it doesn't even have to be that big. Call me, 0.5% of $10 trillion. If we
But
can bring that to Pulse.
talking
Yeah, Doc.
about the real world assets
Mhm.
that you just mentioned, I'm now seeing more and more articles about many different companies jumping on that same bandwagon now.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so
I mean, they're throwing the $1 trillion word now, like it's no joke. Like the difference now, it's like if they're being conservative, they're saying 2 and 3,
mm,
and then if they're all out, they're saying 10. And we're
okay.
talking like in the next like 5 to 6 years. They're not even saying, you know. And I was like, man, if we can get a little bit of that, because when RH did this, it
Mm,
was what, $6, $7 trillion market in CDs.
okay, okay. But do you think it's going to be, similar like most things where most of the companies or institutions that do these RWAs, that there's no need for them. There is no need for them to do it. It's like,
Oh, hundred
as Thing
percent.
says, duct
Do we
taping
need
on
do we
a
need a
coin.
do we need a
Mm,
Bitcoin ETF? No.
mm.
But I mean it's there and it's pumping like effing like billions of dollars a day now. So I was like, I mean, I know for the last like 6 months, especially, I kept telling you guys. I know you were in some of the streams that I used to do about the ETFs, and I was like,
Yeah.
guys, why are we pumping? Why are we
Mm,
pumping? Like this thing, like no, like they took the whole they did like the whole cash crate thing, so it's not like they needed to buy them every single day. So yeah, the price went from like 24K to whatever we are now, and I still am thinking that was all like this narrative. But once they took the quote unquote spot out of
uh-huh.
out of
Yeah, I
the
remember you
spot
talking about that. Yeah,
ETF,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Not having to
yeah.
actually buy the actual.
Oh, they have like a month. I heard
Yeah,
the other day. So
but then they can
basically,
do
they can
trickery.
tell you,
They can
oh,
do any
we
kind of
got this.
trickery between that. Yeah.
Oh, bro, I bet they're loving right now these dips and stuff, because they can just, they can do stuff with the dips that they're not gonna reflect for another 2 or 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, and I'm sure that they're shorting in other places. So every time that the price goes down, they make money somewhere else, and then they liquidate a bunch of their own people. And then, I mean, they call that the Arthur Hayes special.
So let me ask you a question about this then.
Oh,
So let's say, for argument's sake, another 10, you know, ETFs come out, whether they're Bitcoin specific or they're Ethereum
really?
specific, or they're a bunch of a mix between the two, or there's some other
Oh, I
ones.
got you. You're
Yeah.
saying
So
Ethereum too.
let's
Okay.
just say 10 of these guys come out, you know, from the top, you know, the top kind of, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 institutions. Will that be a net positive for the crypto community as a whole in terms of volume going through the crypto system? Or is it just going to be one of these weird things where,
Mm.
let's say, you know, 100% is, I'm just pulling stuff out my ass now. Let's say 100% of all of that traffic that they have is 10 trillion. Let's just say, for argument, we are only going to see maybe 1 trillion of that on our system because they're doing funny stuff between themselves with whatever delays they have to actually buy and sell the real thing. And in that time, most people can use other assets as collateral or whatever to say these are on our balance sheets and these kind of weird and wonderful things. What's your gut feeling?
That's a deep question, man. Ah, man. I would have to think. I would have to,
You have to mull it over a bit, yeah?
yeah.
Because my view is this.
And
Is
in what term are you thinking? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months?
Oh, no. I'm thinking more like minimum a year from now.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
sort of thinking, you know, a
that's
year to
different.
2 years. So it's kind of like the bear market, maybe until the bear market, sorry, until the bull market ends. So maybe, you know, hopefully 2025 stroke, you know, end of 2025. That, you know, up until that point, will we
Mm.
actually see the benefit of this stuff, or, you know, it's
Hey,
one of these things.
one
Yeah,
second, Doc. I'm gonna, if you and Nico or Lammy can talk for a little bit, I'm gonna go outside real quick because someone's gonna drop something, and then I'll be right back.
gotcha.
Thank you so much, Doc.
No worries, man. Okay, then. All right, fella. Yes, I kind of like put that out to everyone who's listening. Is that let's break it down a little bit more simpler. 'Cause I think that was quite of a heavy question. Um, you know, in the next kind of year or so.
Is Pulse Chain ever going to go above SAC rate? I mean, that's the funniest question ever, right? Like some people are so negative right now that they're like, wow, if we could just go a 2, 3, 4x,
Yeah,
you know, and that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to sell. And so these are all those people are going to exit, and we need them to exit. And then you get 100x's, right?
gotcha.
After
Mm,
that. But they're still holding on for hope that we're going to get a bull market and they're going to get their X's. And so hopefully our bull market is longer, extended out past Bitcoins and Ethereums. And hopefully the people capitulate because they can't bear to wait anymore. We've seen some of it, but it's a long process. You know, we got a whole sacrifice set that's holding on for dear life, and they're flaking off, you know, one person at a time. The
but
cool thing is,
I think
it's going to
also,
happen. Like, it's basically inevitable. If Pulse Chain continues with our community as is, we're
yeah,
going to do like a 10x, 20x. It's inevitable. But there's a lot of bumps in the road because we're just getting rid of a few people here and there. Like me personally, I have 40x my Pulse Chain sacrifice bags. Do you think I'm done? No. I would
mm,
love to have 100x more coins. I would love to. So you need a new adoption. I'm 100 people trying to buy Pulse. And if you're going to give it to me cheap, that's exciting for me. I'm laughing, right? Like, okay, make me a whale, guys. Throw the price to whatever. It's fun. You know, I have a job.
But
Oh man.
I think a couple of points on that is that I think one, I think the longer we take to actually do some meaningful movement in the price, meaning sustain, and I don't mean rocket up, real quick over a week we do, some crazy 80% jump, or I just mean we start to see a trend going upwards.
Yeah, we
I
had
think
that just a
I think
couple of weeks ago,
I think the
right? We went.
longer Mhm. I think the
I mean, it
longer
was
that trend.
there. It was there. So we did that. We just did a trend. Pulse went up. It touched 2x SAC. So we went from 0.00003 all the way up to 2x SAC, which is like a what 6 to 8x or so. I mean, that was a big move, bigger than most people give it credit for. You know, like Solana didn't do a lot of X's. It only did like what 20x or whatever.
Mm,
So we were sitting there almost at a 10x from the bottom. It's just the problem is you have to buy the bottom to feel good in crypto, no matter whether it's Bitcoin or ETH or Pulse Chain. And if our bottom wasn't saturated, then you have to be able to buy the bottom, whatever it is, and you're going to be very happy once it hits 100x. And for everybody else, it's just a 10x. It's just how it is with crypto.
mm. But I
So if
think
the sacrificers get a 10x, but the bottom dippers get 100x, well, I would rather be that bottom dipper guy, you know? And
mm,
I think we're going to do great, but there's no one that knows the future about what's going on over the short term. Over the long term, we can force it to happen as a community. In the short term, you can get any type of price movement, and a lot of people can get unhappy for a while, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think also in that I think some folks are still wanting PulseX to rocket as quickly as possible to their price that they want, whatever, if it's a 2x or 3x or a 10x or whatever. And I think some folks are not willing to wait. I mean, I think there's still some folks that are still in the system who have sacrificed and are not happy that they're not seeing a minimum of a 10x now on their bags. And when they see other coins that they believe may be, let's air quote, lesser than the coin that they hold, I think there is a little bit of resentment. There's a little bit of maybe anger towards anyone and anything that they can lash out at, so that they can actually vent, and I think that also causes us as a group to then fight amongst ourselves because we all have different opinions on things regardless. But then when we then feel hard done by, the closest people we're going to lash out to are either our friends and families, but they don't know what we're into. They don't really understand. So the ones that we lash out are going to be those that are in the community that we're into. And then that kind of then just feeds this kind of narrative of the outside folks then turning to us and say, well, look at those guys. They were supposed to 10x, blah, blah, blah. Plus coin was supposed to be the answer. Where are you guys now? And I think some folks can't handle that, you know, it's too much. Let me get out. Let me move to something else. Let me take my 2x or whatever it is. And some people may not even be taking, to be fair, some people may not even be taking even, evens. Some people may be taking a loss and say, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses. It's not worked out. I'm going to one of these other shiny things that's going to do better for me, you know and I think that comes back to what you were saying, is that in the long term, this stuff, most of us have the foresight that, or we believe that we've got the foresight that this thing will provide us with whatever X is that, well, as long as it's not like kind of 10,000X, but it's going to provide us with something substantial in the future. But I think it's the short term where folks are getting, when I mean short term, I mean maybe 6 months, 7, 8 months, 9 months. I think folks want to see, this thing has been released now for what, nearly a year? And I think some folks, they want to see, this thing has been out a year. Why hasn't it done what I need it to do, or what we all thought in the beginning? Kumbaya, this thing is going to do that. But they don't realize there's lots of other factors in that year that has occurred. And it's just like anything forward planning or forward thinking, anything can happen that can affect your coins. I don't know. I don't know what to say to those folks. Apart from, you have to just evaluate it for yourself. Sit down with yourself, decide for yourself. Can I hold on? Do I have faith and understanding that this thing will play out? Not just blind faith, but an understanding of how this system is supposed to work, and how this system should give me the 10x or whatever in a year or two. If not, then you have to then decide what you have to do, what you want to do, whether it's you take out all your cash, or you say, you know what, I'm going to take 50% out because I still believe in this thing. I'm going to take 50% out, and I believe I've done my research on these other areas of crypto, and I believe they will give me
Mhm.
a better return, blah, blah, blah,
I would
but
say is
mm,
you could put new capital into new stuff and chill on your pulse chain stuff, because there's no guarantee. When the people left pulse chain to chase Solana, they bought the top. They bought the absolute Solana top,
Yep.
Jesus,
which was pathetic, right? Like
gee,
even the SAC wallet picking up Ethereum at 3,500, we dumped down to 2,800, right? So you start to chase Pulse, or you start to chase any other ecosystem like Bitcoin right now,
mm,
you may end up seeing Bitcoin down to 50K after you bought it at 70. And you're
Gotcha.
like, wow, no, I can't make any good choices. I hate crypto. It's all bad. I'm running from it all. I give up. And that's what happened. And, eventually in a lot of these people is they did several bad plays, and it's better just to relax. And I personally took some money right now and I bought Ethereum. I didn't sell Pulse to buy Ethereum. I
okay,
think both are going to do good. I I actually grabbed a little bit of Solana. It actually pumped up after that because I bought the absolute dip. But do I really care about Solana or where? I'm going to dump that thing as soon as possible and push it into Pulse chain, because I could care less about it. It's just if you want a trader mindset, you should have a bag just for that, and it shouldn't really involve your core assets, because those are like, we're talking, we just replaced Ethereum, and we're going to be using Pulse chain for the next decade or 2 decades, right? Like you should think about this as like a 2-decade ecosystem that's literally the only thing in crypto that matters. And everything else is like a toy, a game, a play. You can do it, you could flip it, you could try to make money on it, but it's all one switch off away from losing all your money. Like Base, they got a sequencer. The computer can literally, the devs control one computer that's literally able to turn off the whole network. That's not cryptocurrency, right? That's literally a company with a server and you're playing on it. And if I can't put hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on something that one guy can one day just flick off on us.
Yep.
You might as well just use the stock market, right? Just put your money in the S&P 500 at that rate, right?
but do you guys think, though, I'm going to be a bit controversial here, but do you guys
I'm
think
good.
there could be a possibility that a large percentage of folks who sacrificed, and even after sacrifice put money into, let's just say, Pulse chain, were doing the same thing that what some folks may be doing now for other chains, meaning they're coming in, yeah, based on the narrative, they missed the hex. It's Richard Hart. They're hoping for some really big gains. They've come into Pulse thinking, I'm going to come into post chain, make my money, and then move my money back out. And the reason I say that is that some of
Yeah.
the things that I've seen from some of the guys that are really into, looking at the blockchain and providing some analysis and so forth, is that some folks, have come in, been around for maybe 1 or 2 months, and then they're out and they haven't made much cash. Now, our view, being in the system and knowing what it could do, that for us is alien, because that is, well, hold on, you've come in and maybe you might have done a 2x, maybe you might have done a 3x, depending on it, but our view is, well, hold on, that's not what we're in it for. We're in it for kind of something that's maybe life changing at some point. Hopefully it may not have to be hundreds of millions, right, but it may be a certain amount that can change the way that we live individually. Yeah, but I think some folks aren't necessarily thinking like that. Some folks are coming, bright lights. Okay, this is Richard Hart. You know what? We can make a killing on this. Let's go in, be there a couple months, boom, out, make a killing, go somewhere else. And I think some of that has been the case. And I'm hoping many
Yep.
of those folks are out. I'm hoping. I don't
You're
know for
right.
sure.
That's what the whole first year of
Yeah.
Polstein's about, is getting rid of those guys. Like they, and I mentioned CryptoFace earlier. He's not a master hexagon guy. He's just a influencer
Yeah.
who knew and streamed with Richard Hart a few times, and he liked the concept of making mad money on a trade. And for him, this is crazy. It's like, oh, I got to put money into wait and 2-3 years, and he's like trying to trade live on his stream. So for him, this is
Oh, okay.
nuts.
Mm,
So yeah, people like that are, their attention span is, you're gonna pull. Bro, you can never stop it because we're in decentralized crypto. So you're gonna have people that literally trade hex in the early days just to get Bitcoin. That was their goal. Like, I want more Bitcoin. I'm gonna use hex to get more Bitcoin. That works for some people, and they get more Bitcoin because of it. That's their game. And there's no way we could, like, you know, the best way, I
can you
guess, is we have some massive dips that get these people out, or massive gains that get people out.
You
But
need
yeah,
people
a lot of
trading.
people play, they got to be trading, right? They have
Yeah.
to go back and forth. And that's part of, like, it's part of why we're all involved in crypto, is the volatility of this trading that is going to get people in and out, get us liquidity. Certain points you can take advantage of it if you're good.
there was someone else who wanted to talk. Who was that? Please step up. I
Yeah,
don't want
let me.
to.
I think it was Lammy.
I'm just getting a coffee, then I'll join in.
Great stuff.
Cool.
But he was basically saying we need traders. Like, whether you agree with their mantra of why they're impulse chain, they're here to trade and exit, maybe, but maybe they lose and we end up with their coins. That's cool.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, I do want to be realistic, and I do think that we need a variety of people. Those who maybe have short term, some who have medium term, and some have long term, and it does need to be a mixture of folks. I'm talking about the actual the ecosystem itself, not just a coin, but the post chain ecosystem. So we do need a variety of folks. Though I do find it looks like at some point, it might sound horrible, but at some point it looks like we kind of mirror, like we're going down a kind of Solana slight route where, you know, we can just churn out lots of different coins until one of them resonates with people. Of it's a funny name or a funny picture, and then people ape in. And yes, I know that is also a game that some people play, but it'll be nice for to see pumps again, kind of related to more towards applications, DApp. So this, this DApp can, make a change. It's new, it's doing something innovative, blah, 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 and the money comes in like that. I know it's a bit of a pipe dream, but, that's the kind of stuff I would like to see more of. I know those kind of projects take a long time to do, they take a long time to get right and so forth. But I'm hoping, over the next kind of 6 months or so, that we kind of see a little bit more of these kind of projects coming through, expanding our own minds as to what is possible, in DeFi, different ways of doing things, rather than seeing kind of the same kind of things happening where to me it seems burning of coins seems to be a kind of flavor
Yep.
of the year, maybe kind of at the moment. And yes, it might achieve something, but my view is, well, can we not do? Is there not another way of achieving something that effect? May not, may not be, but could we do something else? A bit, innovative, that you don't have to then release, let's say, argument's sake, 1 trillion coins, but then you're burning 20% of them within the first, I don't know, month or so. My thing is, well, why don't you start off with maybe something a bit more manageable in the first place, and then have something else that makes it scarce, some kind of other mechanism. Okay, staking is one of the ways of locking stuff up, but do we have any other kind of imaginative ways that we can do these things? But maybe we need to go through a cycle of what we're doing now, or when I say we, what's happening now, and then the cream of the crop will then start to emerge through all of this stuff. Maybe that's what needs to happen. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, I've got a question. Another question for folks here.
What's
I
up,
mean,
Jack?
one of the initial things that was kind of discussed by Richard Hart when he was on stream was that some of the companies, institutions, owners, founders could possibly, let's use it as a kind of euphemism, or kind of analogy of switching on their version of their coin that's come over from Ethereum. I mean, I haven't seen much talk of that. That seemed to have has sort of gone away. I would have liked to have seen, if possible, if these kind of company, because I mean, okay, there must be a good kind of 100 out of all of the thousands, a good 100 that are saying, well, maybe let's see how they go for a year before I even think about, spending resources, turning that on there. I would have thought some of those guys would have thought, okay, it's been going for a year. It's not crapped out. It seems stable. It's not falling over. Yes, there are times when it gets congested, but it happens with quite a few other well-known um, um, you know chains. So I'd have thought, I would have liked to see soon some of those things turning on, their applications and apps. But are they scared of being
Yeah,
tarnished
that could be
somehow?
it. Well, I mean, for now, with the whole SEC situation, that
Mm,
might be holding some of those back, especially some of the bridges and some of the ones that have coins here.
mm,
Hmm.
okay, okay. Because I know at one point I thought there was early discussions of whether was it Curve, and there was a couple of other kind of financial kind of lending kind of thing
Yeah, and
as
I
well.
think a bunch of them will end up here, and also the some of the decks, that had their coins copied.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
I
you
would
don't
have
figure
thought,
out it's a couple bucks.
yeah, I would have thought that there wouldn't be, okay, apart from I think what problem that maybe Richard had about the was it the decimal issue that he had one point. I mean, apart from that, I would have thought that there may not be too tricky to turn on that, test it for maybe a month or something like that on the test net, and then see. But yeah, you're right. Could be that. Now, saying that, now that's like twisted me to another tangent. Now, this thing
Mm.
with what do you call it, swap, with Uniswap. First of all, when I heard about it, I wasn't really too fussed. When their court case or imminent court case, I wasn't too fussed. I thought, okay, fair enough. But now thinking about it, and I'm getting a bit kind of upset by it all a little bit. Maybe not upset, maybe a little bit perturbed, because I'm thinking, hold on a minute.
Mhm.
Here's this company. It wasn't just that they didn't, lend, a hand, meaning some kind of support. Yeah, okay, I understand. Some people won't,
Mhm.
because of their business, right? But then you took our coin off, and you didn't take it off to make it disappear totally. You just grayed it out, right? So we could still
Mhm.
see it. We could still click it in your list, but then a warning at the bottom would appear that something, I don't know what it said, this coin can't be traded or whatever, right? And then you ghosted us. And then
Mhm.
now we should all come together now. Your mantra now is, oh no,
Mhm.
let's all come together. Everyone, let's forget all our issues and things we have with each other. Let's all come together. I'm a little bit hacked off because my thing is, okay, if let's all come together,
Mhm.
why don't you turn back on the hex? If we're all in it together, turn it back
Mm.
on. What's the big deal now? You're fucked. So
Yeah,
turn it back on. What are you gonna lose now? What are you gonna lose? Turn it back on if we're all in it together. Anyway, but that's my own little rant. I mean, nothing scientific about it. It's more kind of emotional. You know, the
I
the
hear you.
that kind of stuff does rub me up the wrong way of you going down one path. You don't want nothing to do with us. And the fact that you roll in the fact of we put a lot of cash through their decks in the early days, or the
Yeah,
version 2 maybe, you know,
yeah, yeah.
and
Until
then
they got a little greedy with their fees.
yeah, yeah,
They're at like 0.51 or
uh-huh.
0.25, something like that. I don't know.
Mm, yeah, yeah. It's a bit, and I think they're not going to be the first. Sorry, I don't think they're going to be the last. I think there's going to be others, but maybe under the covers. I think they'll contact each other under the covers, private group, get together, blah blah blah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This is the kind of approach we're gonna do. Okay, cool. I think something like that may happen. They won't. I don't think they'll admit it, but I think they'll talk to make sure that they all, have some kind of common thread through all of their defense. Yeah, they might have some differences in what they challenge and put forward, but I think there's going to be some common stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they do use
Mm.
a lot of stuff that Richard Hart has put out. Where he's put out some stuff saying, you guys, it wasn't them at that point, but anybody else should be using these kind of words for their defense. So I think that I won't be surprised if some of them use that. But yeah, man, it's getting tricky, and it's what you said that was most likely going to happen. You saying it about 2 or so years ago that the Fed, sorry, the SEC, they're going to go after nearly everyone. No one is going to be safe
Do you remember
unless you're
that
in.
conversation?
Yeah, I remember. Unless you're in bed with them
I
somehow.
told Lid in November of 2021. I said I'll be famous in April of 2024
You
because
reckon?
that's when like all the it's in a video, bro. Like I said it in that video, but it was like I knew that they had delayed all the taxation portion and everything to the start of 2024.
Mm,
So at that point, I was like, all right, well, all the effects of the law that we'll have in 2023 will take effects in 2024, and then everyone will understand what I was warning about. Because it just, whenever they approved that infrastructure bill, they never said where the money's coming from. And then, well, the money's coming from crypto.
yeah, gotcha.
And yeah, the second that I saw that, it's just, I mean, it was that one article that I share with you guys all the time, the one that I have like highlighted in pink, those two lines. It was those two lines because the property one would affect every every single crypto. You know, the second that I said, wait, what? They just passed a law that said any crypto. And I just kept telling everyone, any crypto is any crypto, god dang
I
it. You
remember you
remember I
kept
kept saying
pushing
that.
that.
Any
I
is
remember.
any. And then everyone's like, no, but like if I'm a farmer with like my hoe and my thing and I'm just like farming my little digital credit. And I was like, no, it's not gonna be like
Doesn't matter.
that.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
words are there. Yeah.
Dude, the second that like Gensler did that video that it said, some people call it mining, some people call it staking, some people call
Yeah.
it lending, and I was like, oh shit.
It's
But at
gonna
that
get
point,
everybody. Yeah.
exactly at that point, I was
Doesn't
like,
matter the
damn,
words you use. Yeah.
he's just going for every one of us. And yeah, I just kept telling as many people as possible because I knew that at that point I was like, all right, well, it just doesn't matter if we can live in little DeFi world. And I'm not trying to be like, fuddy or
Mm.
condescending or whatever, but it's just at one point that's what everyone that was the answer to everything. Everyone just kept telling me, yeah, but we're in DeFi, but we're in DeFi, we're in DeFi. I was like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I eat chicken tendies in McDonald's.
I remember the chicken tendies. Yeah.
So I was like, well, I mean, I was like, great, I'm fucking multimillionaire in crypto. And then McDonald's like, all right, chicken tendies is $7.
But hey, ID.
Yeah, bro.
But do you think now it's gonna
Yeah.
is it clearer to you now that these guys are gonna you know go after because they've got unlimited cash, they're gonna go after everybody, tie them up for many years, and then why everyone's tied up for many years,
Mhm.
they then can implement whatever they need to implement, such as the broker, uh, people
Mhm.
having to have broker license, just like the stocks and shares, where you yourself as an individual can't really go and buy your own, IBM or
Right.
whatever, your Google or whatever. You have to go through some
Through
kind of
them.
accredited person,
Mhm.
individual, or institution. Do you think
Yeah.
that now is going to be pushed at some point really hard to say, right, guys,
Mhm.
you need to
No,
go
no,
through
that
the.
already happened. I mean, I'm serious. I mean,
You
that
think
was
so?
what was approved November
Yeah, I know it's
15th of
approved.
2021. That
Yeah.
night when I
Mm.
did that video with Lit, that's when I was like, that was I kept saying that. I was like, I'll be famous because I was like, I was getting it on the day, like on the day. I'm like yelling at everyone, like, "Yo, like the British are coming!" And then everyone's like, "Nah, it's okay."
ID's talking nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That night, I remember coming to one of the spaces and being called a schizo that night because I was like yelling at everyone. I was like, guys, like they just approve a
It's
law
so
that it's
ID.
coming for DeFi. And then everyone's like, bro, what are you talking about?
This
Like,
guy's crazy.
there's no exactly. And I was like, I wish that I would have been a little bit more patient and I wish I would have used way better language because obviously it's not like they were gonna like creep in through through the DeFi and through like the Matrix. But
Mm.
all I kept saying was like, well, who gives a shit if I'm like the richest person with tulips in like fucking
Can't sell
1600
it.
or whenever it happened? Exactly. If I cannot fucking sell it. So if I don't have the cash and if I don't have the tulips, then I'm fucked up because I only have the receipts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need the receipts. I need either the tulips or the cash. And at that point, I remember like I used to go to the Spanish group and tell them like you got to have some type of strategy, because if you're winning, all the hands in the casino, but then
Mm.
once you get out, you can't swap your chips.
Yeah.
You're
You
screwed.
fucked. Yeah. Yeah.
And I kept trying to tell everyone. I was
Yeah,
like,
but
that happened to me in
there
21, because
comes a
in
point though.
21 millions of hacks
But
or
think
millions
about
of
it.
dollars. Oh, sorry about that, DCA. Tell me about it, brother.
Mm.
No. Think about it though. We get to the point where
Mhm.
we realize as a community that we don't have to swap in and out of dollars at all.
There you go.
So this is where community comes into play. Where if you do get large enough or connected to each other enough, or do OTC trade enough, or whatever your ways that you're going to do things, you're going to get past the conversion, which
Right.
is unnecessary. The
They
crypto
are
is
overplaying their
the
hand.
exchange, right? Yeah, they're pushing it. They push their hand so far that eventually you say, like, oh, wow, you mean I could
Hmm.
really just use this as we were originally supposed to use it as a medium of exchange? Because we can do that with Pulse Chain. It takes a couple seconds and voila, values in your wallet, and you didn't
Exactly.
have to dump the chart to exchange value. And literally, you could do it.
I
There's
can't wait
multiple
for
ways,
that.
including, I mean, if you want to do it, you could even do it with SD cards and 12 words on an SD card that you give to somebody, and then the crypto doesn't even move. You know what I mean?
Ah, that is very interesting. Actually, that is
Yeah, it is.
absolutely interesting.
You don't need to move crypto. You just need to give
Just give
somebody
them the
the
seed words
ability.
to that, and say, there you are. That's got the money you need.
The only issue is you got you have to say, okay, does the person also have those words? So once you do that, all you have to do is send the crypto out of that wallet, and then you're golden.
Ah, very interesting. I never thought about that. Give over your seed words, and then
They're
the
gonna
owner.
try to do that here real soon. Like I'm noticing that most of the stuff that's coming out, they don't want it to have seed phrases.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, some
okay.
of the updates for Ethereum too. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. I even heard something like what Maddie was had launched for her Pulse. They're trying to do that for Ethereum too, where you're like doing like some type of secondary contract, so you're not like just
Yeah,
moving
the
like your
30,
bag.
what is it, thirty
Hmm.
seventy or something, the new ERC standard, where they're basically
What
trying
do
to
you guys
make
think
all
about
wallets
that?
smart wallets. I mean, all wallets are smart wallets, and I don't know.
Because
If
would that end up
you,
in Pulse no matter what?
I mean, yeah, we could add it or not, but
Gotcha. I just
I,
like, is it a good
I
thing or?
think, okay, so one of the big good things about that is
Yeah.
the user experience that we currently suffer for on our dApps, which is we're doing two transactions to do almost anything, like enable to approve, and then you do the transaction. In the new format for ERC, your front end dApp can just say approval and confirm, and then you hit confirm, and you're going to submit the transaction together as like a bundled transaction. Um, which so your front end will look a little bit different probably, or your wallet will just have it so you can change if you need to certain approvals, and then the send is the approval as well. It goes together, and that it saves people probably a little bit of gas, but it also saves people the annoyance of having to do something twice, which people don't really enjoy doing, right? Like I get the approvals are good, we still have them, but then you're not doing an approval and then a confirmation of the transaction after. So I think that's a user experience upgrade that is really exciting, and dApps would build it in pretty easily. And so there's some clunkiness that we deal with now that it's going to get ironed out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't wait for that, especially with the gas.
Is that earmarked for this year? I wasn't sure if it's coming
I'm
out
not
this year.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, with Ethereum? Psh, I don't even expect it. Like, if I learned something, it's like, yeah, dude, like the 2.0, I remember I always joke, but the first time I heard about it was like
2018,
2016,
man.
2017.
Yeah,
Yeah, super early.
by 2017, they were telling the miners like myself that you only got 1 year left. and you're going to be toast. And it didn't happen until 2022, so we had 4 extra years.
Right. And then he added that huge freaking roadmap that goes to like 2030 or whatever the F goes to. So it's like, oh man, like I don't even look at
The
anything.
cool
I
thing
just like
about
whenever they announce
Pulse-Chain
it,
is
I was like, I'll go check it.
we don't have a roadmap for Hex. We don't have a roadmap for Pulse-Chain. We can do good things, but we don't have to like present. So there's so many nice things about this as far as like the court case is concerned. It's like we don't even have a white paper. What, you know, like, oh man, Richard was a lot smarter than everybody else when it came to this kind of stuff. Like there's no organizations, no companies who like using open source software and launching it. He didn't write the code. He didn't like who actually launched Pulse Chain, right? Think about
Uh,
that.
Probably Kieran. No, I'm joking. You know what? I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think about? And I asked this in the Spanish chat, but I won't tell you guys what they tell me because I want to hear your opinion. What are your thoughts on them not going through the code? I mean, you could tell by just reading that the 69 pages that they did not go through the hex code. So they, at least the launch, they don't talk about the minting and the burning of units and turn into T-shirts, how T-shirt work. None of that. Is that a
The
good thing
first,
or a
I
bad
mean,
thing for you guys?
the first thing I think they're doing is very abstract or very generic. Like, okay, jurisdiction, or okay, Hex can't represent itself. It didn't hire any lawyers, and neither did Pulse. Like the lawyer courtroom type of jargon, legalities that we don't really care about. It's like half of the lawsuit has to be thrown out because Hex is never going to show up to a court case. Either is Pulse, either is Pulse Hex. So the lawyers are like pushing um, to get this thing narrowed down to a small amount of subset of things to fight over. And so the SEC did the broadest blanket possible. Now they're going to have to literally remove things like what they did with Coinbase, where they said, you know what, the wallet is decentralized, and no, it's not a broker. It does decentralized swaps with secondary sales. So you cannot sue Coinbase and say that they're offering securities on their decentralized wallet when they aren't. That's
Right.
literally secondary sales, which is not security sales. So then the judge removed that from the court case completely. And I think they have to whittle away at the Richard case and remove things that there's no, like, for example, this is one tweet that I did recently. Hex was launched when mining was almost all in China. So in the SEC complaint, well, they get jurisdiction because Hex was done with Ethereum, which like most of the majority is in America. Really? No, it wasn't. Not back when Hex was launched, it wasn't. It was almost all in China. So do you really have jurisdiction over China, SEC? You know what I mean? Like so those type of like dotting the I's and crossing the T's of their horrible, write up on Hex is it doesn't even go into the code level yet to say like, wow, there was a adoption amplifier. You had to personally transform ETH into like we can't even go to that level yet because which that's like talk about
Mhm.
great technology, right? Like you literally did not purchase Hex from anybody, right?
Right,
It was
exactly. That's why I
it's an
thought that it was going to go to
automated
court and
structure.
be proven, though. I thought
Well,
that
it
the
was
SEC was going to
automated.
be like,
It
well,
would be
this thing
great.
that Richard invented, it's a security because da 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 da. And we went to the code and this does this, and then when the hex is minted after you get your t-shirts, your term is expired, da 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 da. I thought they were going to explain all that in court. I mean, call me, super like I selfish, that I wanted them to do all that to explain it. But it doesn't even look like they've even gone to a GitLab to even
they're
Yeah.
look at it.
they're trying.
Ah,
The
Is it actually at
SEC,
that point yet, though?
the SEC is okay. So what are they saying about this? An investment contract. This is one of the craziest things And Coinbase is going to fight this, and I think Richard Heart's lawyers should as well. Also, I mean, Uniswap should fight it. None of this is investment contracts. I didn't sit down and sign any paperwork to do an investment with a company and hopefully they would get me returns over time. I didn't sign any disclosure on that. Literally, this is completely automated and decentralized, and it's just software that you start using. And that concept needs to be really challenged because they've said several times that it doesn't matter if it's a written contract or not. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Initially, the whole point of an investment contract was a written contract. It wasn't just whatever somebody says at any moment given time and then like, okay, what's a contract? Is it a contract or not a contract? Is this an investment? Did anybody invest? Right. So we need to break down a key word that they use, like investor, and we need to annihilate that because there was zero investors in Hex. Hex was complete. An investor, according to
Yep.
what they term, is somebody putting money into a security which has officers that are going to push to make more profits for the people that hold the security. And that has nothing to do with Hex. Hex didn't have anything but a complete code. So there was no, we're going to do more to make it make more money and more profitable. There's nobody you could rely on to do that for you.
Okay, I'll give you guys my take on it. I think the SEC not mentioning the code, I think in general that's actually a bad thing. And hear me out here. How I say it's a bad thing. In that it allows, in my opinion, it allows the SEC then to make reference to Hex on an abstract level without having anyone go deep and actually explain how it actually works. Two, they can say that, and that because it's on an abstract level, they can say that Richard is the owner / promoter of this thing because everything has come through him. It's not come through anybody else's lips as to when this thing's going to be available, what it's going to be about, and all these kind of things. And also, he has made references in some when he has this combative arguments with folks that he has created his coin. He has created a coin. So then that produces the link there. And also, the coin won't see what Richard is trying to show everyone at the beginning, in that it is you, the user of this thing, that does the work. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. They won't see that. They won't actually see concrete that here is how this stuff works, and someone can draw it on a board because it has to be explained, before they move on. Draw it out, this is how it works, blah blah blah, and get it verified by another person, coder, that's on an independent person on both sides who can actually confirm how this thing's work, how this thing works. And I think another thing is what they will try and put on to Richard Hart is that they will then try and say that it's an implied contract that exists between Richard Hart and the users, whether it's true or not. That's the kind of stuff that they will try and pull, because I think a contract, I know for the UK, I don't know explicitly for the US, a contract can be something that's written down on paper, but it can also be implied by your actions.
It could be verbal.
Yeah, it can be verbal and also implied by your actions of both parties and what you do. And I think that's the stuff that takes a long time for them to go through court and deliberate and say this happened, that happened, his actions was this actions mean this, and blah, blah, blah. So my thing is, if somehow they can, this is me just talking now, it's me. If somehow they can maneuver the SEC to make reference to hex in such a way that Richard Hart has to explain it on a high level, then I think he could get them by saying, I cannot explain it to a high level because it's not going to show you exactly how this thing works. I need to go down and spend a day to explain it with pictures, simple infographics, how this stuff works to a high level. And then if there are any challenges, then he can say, well, we can bring an independent coding expert to verify it. And then it will be for the other folks to then try and dispute that by bringing their guy in, and then you get the real deal coming out, in my opinion. There's a lot of ifs, a lot of buts.
I like it though. I mean, like I said, call me selfish, but it's just I thought that that was going to be part of it because I I thought that was the main idea of doing the launch the way he did. It was to beat the Howey test in a not in some type of nefarious way. Meaning, hey, you guys gave us the rules, and here is a product that complies to your rules. Instead, they're like, "Well, I know that you did all this stuff to comply to the rules of 1930s, but we don't care. We're not even going to look at it." And then you're like, "Well, what?" So then everything that
Yeah.
that Coinbase is fighting with them, telling them, "Hey, all we're telling you is tell us what the effing rules are, so we can play by the rules." Like I don't think like 98, 99% of the crypto community in the last 10, 15 years has issues with that. It's just they go to the regulators, they tell them, hey, tell us how to play the game. We want to play side by side to the bankers and the planners. Just give us the rules and then we play by the rules. But then they're like,
So,
you
yeah.
broke the rules.
So there's one question I want to ask you guys for in the States now, is that so for some parts of the UK law over the last kind of 10 years, especially to do with tax, they have now brought cases against companies and individuals, and they have, rather than stated the explicit rules that have been broken, they have tried to steer the cases towards this term that they now use, in the spirit of the law, which kind of gets them around, you not breaking, these five things. You're skirting on these five things. You don't actually break them, but you're very close. But then they step away and say, well, in the spirit of what the law is trying to prevent, you're breaking the law. Do you think that the SEC now are in that kind of mode, or not at the moment? They're not sort of bringing people in and say, well, look, yeah, you're not breaking the Howey test, but the point of a security, of something being labeled a security, is to stop people getting wrecked. You're getting people wrecked. To stop people using money outside of the system, laundering and blah 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 blah. Are they going to start using that kind of narrative to say, it's the spirit that Richard Hart is breaking? These rules are supposed to do this, and Richard Hart may not be breaking explicitly, but he is breaking the spirit of the rule. I mean, who knows? But that's
I mean,
something that the
that's what
UK are
they've
doing.
tried though in
Okay.
cryptos because the original ruling, what they keep saying for the last however many years, is just, hey, you didn't register.
Yeah.
So technically, to be in good standing with the SEC, you need to one or two. You either need to be exempt of the rules of the 1930s, or you need to be registered, and then you're a security. So it's I mean, it sounds that stupid, but it's just that's what they tell everyone that they need to do, and that's why
But is the
everyone just like, yeah, yeah.
Howey test the only sets of criteria
Well, it's just
that
the
they
Howey
use?
test is after. Like if you go and think of what they're telling you, they in their mind they shouldn't even have to look at Howey because they should be getting a phone
Ah,
call from you first saying,
okay.
"Hey, I have this thing and I'm gonna register it, or I'm trying to be exempt. What up?" And then the problem is that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, but they don't answer me back," and they're like, "Yeah, because they just don't have no interest on approving 20 or 30,000 cryptos." And then everyone's like, "All right, well, I'm just still gonna launch them." You see, but
Mm,
in reality, what they wanted was Bitcoin. That's it. And then everyone that called them, they'd be like, "Yeah, wrong number. Don't call us. We'll call you back."
mm,
That's the
Instead,
real problem.
right?
And then
Exactly.
this is where the lawsuit, there should be some kind of class action style lawsuit where, it's like, well, if you will not, and this is what Coinbase has pushed to the SEC, we tried and you would not receive it. So how are you going to say, oh, you didn't do this?
Exactly.
We literally tried to do it and you wouldn't allow us for some of them, right?
Exactly.
They,
And
they
then
wouldn't
pay millions
accept
of dollars to their legal
documentation.
team too.
Yeah. So it's really, it's dubious or disingenuous. It's duplicitous, right? They're being duplicitous. They're trying to say you have to do this, but we're not going to allow you to do this. Okay, great. And then you're going to take money from us. So I think
Exactly.
there comes a point
That's
where
the messed up part too.
has to Congress has to change things basically at the SEC. Whether it's you get three bodies, you get the CFTC working harder at this. I don't know. Whatever has to happen, it's there needs to be a breakup. Hopefully,
They're
the
gonna bring in a
politics
new agency. They're gonna
changes.
bring in it like a
Right.
digital FinCEN.
We
So,
need we do need to get rid of 1934 as being a standard for computers weren't invented. None of this was invented. It's very like how on earth do you think you can apply a rule about stocks over to cryptocurrencies, and which is just a software that somebody submitted onto a internet, which none of that
Mhm.
existed in 34, which means none of this is illegal because there are no laws that they created yet, which means
Right.
Congress has to, if they want to regulate it,
Mhm.
they got to create something, right? They actually have to create real, specified rules. And then they're getting pushback from the SEC because the SEC is like, we don't need rules.
Yeah, they don't want them.
We got 1934. It's crazy. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, actually,
at
you,
least
you
two
could
times I've
have
heard that
rules.
dude say that publicly. Yeah.
This guy's crazy. Literally,
so,
he's like, we won't make any rulings. What?
mm. So help me out here. So when it comes to the state of New York, and I think maybe a couple of others, that they have different or slightly different rules for crypto than the others, and the SEC are trying to put the case or have the case heard and run out of New York. Is that correct? Or have I misunderstood? Are they trying to, or they can run it anywhere?
Yeah, it's judge shopping, right? They're shopping for judges, and they get
Okay,
their best friend in the worst state to try to put down the hardest penalties, right? If you judge
okay,
shopped in a different place, maybe the judge can be like, this has got to be thrown out because this is a
gotcha.
joke.
I gotcha. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, no, a few of the things that are in the paper, I hope that the judge goes like, all right, this is dumb. You guys didn't do
Mhm.
your due diligence.
Do you think they underestimated Richard Hart?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
they definitely underestimated 11 lawyers. I'm sure they expected two. So shout out to Richard for that because
Richard
the lawyers are
Richard was
making their work.
spending Richard spent his own money before any sacrifice phases, and then they're trying to say he got money from a sacrifice and he bought
Right.
Mm,
cars and jewelry. And it's like, wait a
That
second,
was a
you
great
literally
catch.
wrote
And the
down
one that they're
time
adding already.
traveling.
Mm. Yeah, DCA.
No,
Oh,
go
the time
ahead.
travel. No, the time travel. That was
Yeah,
hilarious. I was, I
it was
was,
so
I
fun.
was joking about that on Twitter the other day. I was like, once they're done with Richard, they're gonna go after Biff Tannen for the issues with the almanac. They're going after everyone.
So do you think they could
Yeah, Doc.
tie him up in legalese? You know, for years. Just go. A bit like the XRP case that I thought would be over in 6 months when it first started.
Oh wow.
But do you think it could be something where it just carries
Um,
on and on and on?
I don't think so because of the whole situation happening with this BitDesk or whatever. What is it that group that they just got in trouble for? So I think he had his case seen at the perfect time, which is the
Okay.
courts are overwhelmed with all these SEC cases that they're bringing them. So I'm sure some of them are just
Yep.
overreach. And then the judges are going to be like, bro, what is this? Like they were calling you. They were trying to get regulated. They were trying to do this. They were trying to, do the
Yeah.
KYC, AML, this and that. So where is the problem? And then I'm sure that, like I said, since they got caught doing that overreach of telling them, hey, freeze the accounts
Mm.
of that company. So right now, I don't know if they're gonna have to pay a fine or if I'm sure they're just gonna get some kind of slap in the wrist, like, oh yeah, it's okay. But at least
They'll
it's being
delay,
seen public. What was it, Lemmy?
they'll delay it and delay it and delay it. Hopefully, Trump will get in, and
Let's
he'll do
go.
something. So he'll do something around crypto. Bearing in mind, Trump has his own cryptocurrency, so he's got his own NFT, hasn't he?
Yeah, in the meantime, it just keeps stacking. So we
Yeah.
actually this could be a really good thing for us. Like if we're thinking 3, 5 years, I mean, and you're just using the network with low fees as Ethereum hits 40, 50, whatever, Gwei, and then over there you can't do nothing. So if you're earning yield that way over
No, we
here,
hit 500. We hit
Mhm.
500 Gwei. What are you talking about? 50 Gwei.
Oh, nice. Oh, you mean like 21 or
No,
recently?
no. Just today or yesterday, Ethereum hit 550 Gwei.
Oh, wow.
I mean, people were freaking out when ETH goes down in
Oh,
price.
right, because there was
You see
major
Gwei
dumpage and everyone just
skyrocket.
eats
Yep.
slippage and high Gwei. Oh, yeah, I've seen those. I was like, yeah, exit, exit,
That's why I
mayday,
bought some
mayday,
ETH, man. But I bought
eject.
the ETH on Pulse Chain, so I didn't have to deal with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Ethereum. Yeah, I got a couple of stakes, small, tiny ones, bleeding out.
Yeah, no,
Oh well.
Ethereum failed everyone.
But saying that, yeah, there must be stuff on there working for for the
Yeah, meme coins.
things that go on.
Yeah, meme coin. So a
Okay.
meme coin
There
has
you
to
go.
go up. A meme coin has to go up so much that you can cover the swap fee. So people aren't even dumping their meme coins right away because they got to hold to pay for the gas. So it
Ah,
encourages these traders to hold longer, which pumps the meme coin price higher.
okay. Okay. Understand. Okay.
Yeah, no, Ethereum is just pointless at this point. Like what
You
are you
got,
gonna
you got
do?
the L.
You yield, you do this. What was it, Lemmy?
You got the L2s on it. They've still got to use the chain for something.
Yep.
You wouldn't have the whole L2 ecosystem over there, would you, without it?
That's the thing. I don't know because I see all this ETF situation. They don't care about the network. They're moving all these
Yep.
derivatives from one side to the next,
Yep.
and they
If they
won't
could
use the
get
net.
ETH
Mhm.
to be
Proof of
locked
stake
up
killed
like
it.
Bitcoin, they don't even care.
Proof of stake killed it. The I mean, it removed it from a lot of people, like believers in crypto. there's a bit more to it than I don't like proof of stake. I'm going to say it's just ruined the project.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. We're almost at
Yep.
3 hours.
Cool.
So good hangout. I just next week I'm not gonna use this desktop. I don't think it works well. We had a couple of guys. I think Todd Shell at one point was trying to get into, and then it's just at for the last like hour I've been trying to do things from the other phone to go back up, and I couldn't. So no, I tried to refresh or delete the data from the app, go back in, go back out, close this. The only thing that worked the other time, Doc, was then refreshing this, the desktop, but then it killed the space. That's when we
Okay.
were talking earlier, and we were like real early, and then it dropped it. That's what I did. I was like, all right, let me F5 this, and nope,
Maybe
didn't
you need
like it.
to take a day or so and rebuild it and make sure you got all the latest patches and blah blah.
That could be it.
Could
Check it
be, but
out
that's
and
going to take
see.
a while to do.
We will see. Well, guys, anything else you want to add? Thank you for hanging out. We're going to try to keep these like this 2-3 hours every weekend, Saturday or Sunday. That way we get to discuss whatever's happening in the week, and we get to, I don't know, just catch up.
Yeah, just one thing before you go. Do you actually think that
Mm.
folks will actually? I'm talking about folks from all different chains. Do you think that they will band together for this issue now that nearly all
Ooh,
chains are going to face? Because
question.
there's more and more. I'm sure there's more and more applications, DApps, are in the pipeline
Mm.
to receive, some kind of,
So you mean
call.
like they're gonna unite with us, the crazy
I won't say I
hexagons?
would. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I don't
I
think so,
wouldn't say
brother.
that.
I think we're. I
I think it
think
might be
we
the other way
went
around.
back. I think we went back to 2020. We're back to the Spartans, brother. I think there's gonna be 300 of us
Yeah,
and a couple of
let's go.
influencers. Yeah,
Mm,
and then that's why I posted the other day, and I start like tagging all the Bitcoiners because I want them to get pissed already. Because it's like, well, if you guys are not gonna help us now
mm,
to either stream now or spread what's happening with Richard or try to help him some way with awareness of what's happening.
mm.
Because some of these rich folks, they could also be influencing the media, and then they could be influencing social media,
Yeah,
and then all of
yeah,
a sudden, this could be in everyone's. I mean, one tweet from Elon or something like that, like, "Hey, what's happening with freedom of speech here
yeah.
with Richard?" And then that would be in everyone's Twitter.
Yeah, turn the
So
narrative away from price. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
but I'm not expecting it. I think it's just gonna be us, and then when he wins, though, because
Mm,
that's another thing. Like I don't think he's gonna get the support, but I think he's still gonna win.
mm,
I think that his lawyers are. You could tell that they're on top of the game. That once you read the reply from the SEC, you could tell that the SEC was like, "Oh, like
You mean business? Yeah,
yeah, exactly." Like I mean, you could tell just by reading it. I mean, it was like 60 something pages, but like
yeah.
some of the stuff was like, and even one of the paragraphs it says like he has seeked like something counsel. I think it's like they use a specific word. I mean, it wasn't like they said like, oh, they're the best ever, but you could tell that what they're saying is, yeah, they're dotting their i's and crossing the t's,
Mm,
and I think that's going to be important because most of the cases in the last like 4 or 5 years, even when Clayton was the main guy, most of the people would just say, all right, where do I sign? Where's the deal? Where can I just pay the fine and just keep business as
Man,
usual?
after Kraken, we can't do that anymore.
Right.
They did it to Kraken, and then
And to
10 months later, they
library.
came back. They came back and they said, hey, we want more money. And it was like, we paid you $30 million,
Yeah, that was
SEC.
messed up.
Are you coming back and trying to charge us for the same thing that you charged us the last time. So that, I think some people are going to realize, like, there is no settling. You just got to go for
Agreed.
broke
No,
and go
agreed. I
for
mean, like
more
even
and get
even
some
the same
real good
thing that
rolling.
happened with library. Like you remember, library went to them.
Yeah.
That was my whole situation. Whenever there was some OGs in the community trying to raise money 2 years ago to try to go and talk to the SEC, and I was like, well, guys, every single person that goes and talks to them says
Yes.
that when you
Up,
go and
up.
talk to them, all they do is they put you in front of the fucking line.
Yeah.
Like, what
I'm
are
ready
we
to get shot.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, guys, all we need to do is just shut the fuck up for 2 years and then make as much money as possible. But since some of them were dumping, some of them were doing this, that, the other, they didn't give a shit. But they were telling everyone, like, oh, let's fucking raise some money and you go talk to the fucking regulators. What's the worst that could happen? Like, great. Like, no, it
Go
was
to the
not a
front
good
of the line.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just not a good idea because it's just, fuck. Dude, anyways, I mean, not. Let's just focus.
Yeah. Focus on the future.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're here, so it's like whatever happened happened. But it's just I
Ethereum.
was trying to be as loud as possible, telling everyone, "Hey guys, this is the one thing that I've been tracking for the last 2 3 years. Let's just not be that loud. Let's just kind of ride under the radar and fly
But
under
do
the
you
radar." Oh,
but do you
It'd be
think there's a possibility that the SEC has something up their sleeves? Do you think there could be any
yeah, of
remote
course they
possibility?
have a fucking rat, and I think it's BitBoy.
No, come
Oh,
on,
dude, I
Vic. Oh
swear.
shit! Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
why
yeah.
the
When
hell do
they
you
held him
think
up.
that I had that
Yeah, yeah,
conversation that I messaged the boss in August of 22? I
I
said,
remember.
hey, don't go and talk to this dude. Why would you talk to this dude? And then, like, 2 weeks later, he gets served?
Yeah, yeah. I got you.
Come on, bro. Like, by the time Cleo fucking filed his shit, he had already been, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
been
remember.
filed and all that from the SEC. So it
So
was
Big Boy
BitBoy,
spilled his
bro.
guts.
Back then he was being like whatever from like the Texas Commission or whatever. So I was like, I bet he was looking for anything to fucking get get a cut of a couple $1 billion by ratting him out. Come on, bro. Come on,
Mm.
bro. You think I just grabbed my nuts because I was just wanting to grab my nuts? No, bro. I knew what the fuck I was talking about that day. I bet one day, like the boss will remember that day when I said, "Hey, boss, like, don't go talk to this guy, boss, boss." Run.
I tell you that day when I saw you, when I saw you, on there- when I saw you on there, and you got a little bit animated on there. You said, "Boss, you can look at my balls, boss." I thought, what the fuck? I had
I
to
remember you
rewind.
messaged me that day. Like, what the fuck happened?
I had to
Oh,
rewind that
dude.
a few times and like, what
I sort
the
of got,
fuck?
if I had planned to have done that, it wouldn't have come out the way it did. But it's just, I got like triggered. I don't know what the fuck, because I was talking to myself, dude. It was like I triggered myself.
And you know the funny thing is, I think from that day that you done that, I think and I noticed some of the people that you had a little bit of beef and issue with, they wouldn't go as hard anymore because I think they knew from that
It was that the
you did
day they were like, oh
you
shit, this
didn't give a
motherfucker's
shit. Oh
crazy.
fuck.
I was like, wait a minute. It's just, I mean, that's how we
Uh,
used to always be, though. It's just that that was when it was the Hexicans versus the world, I guess. And then when it was like that, well, everybody liked ID. And then, like, when they figured out, oh no, it's just this dude is just says what it is, and then that's what people don't like. And now I understand. It's just like I don't have to be liked by everyone. Just like you
yeah, yeah,
move on, and then you wish them the best.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You do your thing, I do mine. If you want to be part of
Exactly.
what I'm doing, then that's fine. If not, do your thing. But I'm gonna tell you if I don't agree.
The problem is like most of the people that tell me that I'm wrong, they don't have what I have, and they haven't done what I did. So
Mm,
they don't have the gains that I have. They haven't done what I did. They haven't been here for 7 fucking years. It's gonna be like I'm telling you, bro. Like the first time I saw RH, it was like May of 17, like that video with Chris DeRose. It's like it's 7 fucking years now. It's like, you know how like long I've been here. So it's like I've tried to help people. I try to tell them like, hey guys, I've seen people get wrecked. I've seen people win. I've seen people go. I've seen people leave. I've seen people stay. I've seen, and it's like, well, me personally, I'm here. I need to be here for the next 15
There's
years.
not going to be another Richard Hart, and
Yeah.
there's not going to be another Pulse Chain, guys. So that's
Exactly.
the
But it's
funny
like, what
thing.
are they
It's like,
doing?
what do you think?
Here, we're trying to
You
help
think
you guys.
you think there's going to be another guy out there that's going to launch a great chain? No, nobody believes in cypherpunk anymore. They burned it, they torched it, they
Exactly.
destroyed it. This is the last guy left in crypto that has the willingness to actually help people and the means to do it. And he's taking a stand, which I don't know if it's the last stand in the all of cryptocurrency or not, but if
At this point.
it pretty much, because everybody else is setting up their centralized server and saying, play over here, and we can take your money whenever that we want. We can delete your money whenever we want, which is just all. So basically, it's almost like all CBDC, right? They can shut down your money
Exactly.
whenever they want. Literally, admin key for everything. Every
So
blockchain almost at this
It'd
point.
be
All the
interesting.
new ones,
It,
all
it'll
the
be
new
interesting.
ones got a
It'll
dev
be
with an off switch, and the government can call that dev whenever they want.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with Ethereum, and do they prosecute the foundation?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be
They will.
the interesting one. And if that case actually comes to court before Richard has his day, or that indictment, or whatever you want to start, that
Yeah.
Wells notice is served before Richard has his day,
That would be
because
interesting.
that could blow it all up.
but do you think it would
They,
be served against the?
Especially when you consider Gensler's views on Ethereum in the
the
past,
thing is, though,
and
Lemmy,
will that be
that
played?
there's these people, though,
Right.
are heavily entrenched into Ethereum. Some of them more than Bitcoin. Like, for example, Fidelity's not using Coinbase in their ETF. They're using Fidelity, which tells you they already started to put their heels into their own ETH, right? And so ETH is pretty, like the banks, the Coinbase, yeah, they got ETH, but yeah, so does some of these banks. They've been accumulating it. I don't know. I almost seem like the ETH is like interlocked into the deep state to some extent, to where
Yeah.
they can't
Oh
really,
yeah.
they don't really want it to shut down or fail. Like too big to fail kind of thing. It's already institutionalized with a high degree, but the foundation itself, they
Yeah, they just dumped so much fucking ETH though in the last like 4 years.
well, they
There's a
got a
lot of
roadmap. They had a pre-sale. They had, you know what I mean? Like they did everything you shouldn't have done, and Richard Hart did everything you should do.
Right.
So, if
By the way,
anything
guys,
would have been
I'm a
labeled,
pleb, so like I can't dump that much. So like, you guys won't have to worry about that. We'll just focus on education because my bags can't wreck the charts.
Really? Even if you emergency
think-
and stake?
Oh, you're talking about hex bags. My hex bags I have thick hex bags. My pulse bags though.
Oh, okay.
You think though, when they went to proof of stake,
Mhm.
And the SEC came out and said they perceived it, the change to be more of an investment contract now, which would be a security.
I just seem, I don't buy that. It's kind of just like mining. I mean, what's the difference? You got a bunch of people running computers around the world, validating transactions. The difference is you're not putting a GPU in it. That's pretty
Yeah,
much
but
it, right?
we see that, but we see that,
Yeah,
but
but they
you've
don't.
got
They don't
old
because they're
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
exactly. That's why Lemmy's right, because like they're not even checking the effing code. So they in
Yeah,
their
they're
mind
not.
they're like, oh yeah, let me like close my eyes here. Oh, Ethereum, Hex, yeah, it's all
So
the same shit.
I think that comes from the Bitcoin. Like this guy, he's like the Gensler guy, especially. He's like a, I don't know if he's a Bitcoin maxi or what, but he
no, it's
pushes the
Ethereum.
Bitcoin narrative. He
No,
is,
but just
but
like if you watch his videos from like MIT and stuff, he was like he was very agnostic to the tech. You know, he was
He
like
did
very
lectures.
like yeah.
If somebody could honestly stand up in front of the SEC and said they got involved with Ethereum because Gary Gensler recommended it, that would be.
Ooh,
Someone could actually
and
do
with
that.
video. available in the internet everywhere? Because those videos are out there.
Well, yeah, there's videos there saying it's not a security. So you've got the chairman of the
Yeah.
SEC saying it's not a security. I invested on him.
Dang, Lemmy, I hadn't thought that. You should tag RH to say that because I'm sure he could make it where they do play that video in one of the
Yeah.
hearings. Because
So
obviously RH
they
has been in crypto
also
for a while, so it's probably the
they
video
kind
came
of
out later.
grandfathered. I mean, I think they're gonna just try to grandfather ETH in. It's like, oh, it's sufficiently decentralized now, and it's been so long. I don't know. Do they make the foundation pay a fee because they
There
ran
you
an
go.
ICO? I'm not
Maybe
sure.
maybe they'll
Right?
do
They could
something
do
like
that.
that. They'll
They
find
say,
them.
hey,
They'll
you
just
guys
say, hmm
should have dump some ETH, give us your cash. Because literally Vitalik was like, you're going, he literally spelled it out. You are buying Ethereum with your Bitcoin. This is a
right.
pre-sale. He said all this stuff, and you should expect that we're going to do all these updates in this roadmap, and then you're going to get 5x or 6x is what
Oh
Vitalik
no,
was
but that
talking
part, I don't
about.
think that they can use that part anymore, though, right? Could they? Like, I think they could use more of the part that Lammy was saying, the part that once there was the migration from POW to proof of stake, because well, I mean, at one point the other guy, Clayton, he used to say it all the time. He used to say what you just said. It's like, oh well, now it's so decentralized. But if they were able to round up everyone and turn the chain from one to PO to proof of stake, and I think that's where they dropped the ball. Like, I think they just needed to keep running a proof of, just proof of work. Just leave it how it was, and then just ignore it. And because now the SEC has the biggest incentive, which I think is, it's just if they do what you just said, I think that then everyone gets to be exempt, right? Or
Ethereum doesn't
no?
work. Well, Ethereum doesn't work like Hex, does it? It's actually in effect we don't create new Ethereum. It's there. You know what I mean? It's not hard coded in. It's hard coded in. Sorry, there's only going to be this much Ethereum.
It's just if they go after
Well,
Ethereum, the SEC does. Like, I mean, what does that do? Like, what does that do? Like, opens the door of like the SEC just going after projects for the next 30 years? Because I mean, like, how many projects are in Ethereum?
No, it just shows you the Howey test is a farce, and it doesn't apply in
right.
the modern world, and how outdated the laws are in America. Because pretty much every other nation now has got the grasp of crypto and know what a crypto is. The US,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's a bit of a
the
joke. It's a bit of a
U.S.
joke.
True.
I always agree to some extent what Do Kwan said when he was interviewed by was it Laura Skill, whatever her name was, when she said, "Well, don't you worry about crypto regulation in America?" And he just laughed in her face basically and said, "The world is bigger than America, and America's not the be all and end all," which is right. It's right. It's not all about America, and the rest of the world's got their asses into gear.
Yeah, that's where you're going to see, like what I said earlier, the ETF for Ethereum will be approved in other countries. So, regardless of what America approves, eventually you're going to get tons of Ethereum locked up in the ETF, and some people in America might not do it. But the only issue with that is you don't get the pump, right, as much because, the 50-60 trillion dollars that are locked up in a lot of this America investments, you're kind of excluding that. So that's the downside, is it's kind of a slower growth crypto, but I think Ethereum's going to get approved. I think they're fishing right now, but I think it's deep stated so much and they get their hooks all into it. So I'm pretty sure the ETF will just get approved, and if they got to pay a fine, they do. But it's like, oh well.
I think about Asia can move the market just as much as America. I mean, they've led bull runs before now.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at
that's what it all
XRP.
came from.
XRP in 2017, that was all South Korea.
Crypto in general was mostly Asian run. You know, like why did Vitalik spend so much time in China and stuff? You know, Japan, because that's what they were doing. They were pushing crypto out. But the Lido, though, the issue with Ethereum is staking pools and companies that run staking pools. And so it gets to be a little more nuanced because there's like layers of management and, you know, advertising and pushing yields. That's where the SEC is kind of pushing on, right? Why does Lido Finance have too much of a percentage of the total network's staked Ethereum? So all of these type of things can be fixed. Like even Lido's pushing down their amounts. They used to be 35% of the network. I think they're 28, 29 or something. They've been lowering how much they allow people to stake into that. Probably as part of this ETF approval. So you're going to probably see mechanisms to allow less people to stake, maybe, you know, limit companies how much they can do. And yeah, it'll get worked out.
It'll probably end up being one or the other. You have a token or you're allowed to float. Not have the two. Because when you think how many debt mechanisms companies have got now as well. They don't, I mean, look at, you don't never think about how many, you know, debt bonds a company's got. You only look at the stock price.
Hi team, I'm gonna shoot off now. It's about 1:45 a.m. here.
Let's do it.
But it's a good chat.
Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out.
All right, man. Take it easy, everyone.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.
Bye bye.
Well, that was a fun 3 hours. So I hope you're having a great Saturday. Let me see it. Let me go through the chat real quick. I didn't. Oh, well, you guys were active. I thought that we were mostly on Twitter. So thank you, Yeezy, Movie Club, Flat Earth. Hey, Hanutu, thank you for stopping by. All right, I know Alan got into the space. Guys, I'm gonna figure out next week. I'm probably just what I'm gonna do is just use the phone, and we won't record it through we just won't record it through YouTube, I guess, or something, because it's just through, whenever I'm doing it through the computer, all the functions just, I have no idea, they're getting frozen or something. At one point, I had to use the phone for a phone call, and I couldn't get back out of the other account. So then it's almost like it lets me press the buttons, but then it doesn't do anything. And it wasn't the mobile, because I was able to reset the mobile and then delete all the data and everything. But whenever I was talking with Doc earlier, I did refresh the whole desktop, but then it just closes then the space. So I figured that if I'm as a co-host on the mobile, I can then refresh the desktop, and then it won't close it out, because it'll just close out just the desktop portion and then it'll leave. So we'll see how. Sorry, guys. It's only been like the second time that I've done the whole thing. Like before, the spaces that we were doing earlier, I would just do it out of the phone, and then the phone is very functional, I guess, or something, and then I can just add people, add to co-host. Right now, it wouldn't even let me add Doc as a co-host, nothing. So so I was just kind of like hoping that the stream, that the space wouldn't close, because I figure if it would close from the This is idea. I know I sound angry. Fuck you, Flip. I don't think I've ever said that though. That's funny. And this is the link, I guess, to the space. Okay, awesome. You got it in there. Finn says, I woke up. What's going on? 2:20 a.m. Finn, just, yeah, FUD, brother. Like, just prices down. So don't worry, bro. We're here for the long run. So we're going to be okay. Shout out to Finn, Jay, everything. This guy watched too many episodes of Suits. I think you're talking about me or Doc. That's funny. Anyways, guys, I have earned out of the game and much more. It has been full of ups and downs, and it wasn't easy for any of us, so I'm happy to say farewell. I will always be in history and will always be somewhere. Gotcha, bro. Well, just remember, we'll be here. We'll be here, brother, if you decide to come back. Thanks for hanging out. Jesus, Shout out to Anna. Jay says, great show, guys. Very informative. Awesome. That's what we want. So remember, guys, we're just going to hang out. No predetermined, no predetermined subjects. That way, depending on what happens that week, I've noticed that, if you do too many plans, you know how crypto is. That you start planning something on Monday, and by the time Wednesday hits, something new happened, and then there's issues with gas, one network shut down. There's issues with the SEC or taxation, or there's some type of So that way, we can just open the mics. Hopefully, I'll be able to actually open the mic. So again, one more time, guys, I apologize if someone was trying to hang out with us. Um, I'm not able to do what I'm trying to do out of the desktop. So I'm kind of pushing the desktop to way more than it needs to. And next week, I'm just going to use it just to record. And then all the functions are going to be done through, um, through the co-host. I'll try to bring in Doc as a co-host and someone else as a co-host. And then you guys are in charge of bringing people up, because the, the desktop is just not letting me. At least it's not working properly with the Twitter space. So yeah, guys. Tomorrow, we're gonna hang out probably in the evening, because I want to hang out with the militia, and then we were gonna do that yesterday. And so we're gonna do it this time. Instead of on Twitter Spaces, we're just gonna have one of our old chats on Telegram. Those are fun, because, like I said, they'll be just like today, just no topic, but probably more related to Hex. I don't think we've had those conversations in a while, and we should use these times, when the prices are down and all that. Everybody gets flooded out. We're in the last few weeks of shakeouts. Remember, guys, that if you're using that whole metric of 50 weeks, that of course there's no science behind it. But then we're in the last like 2 weeks, right? So we're in like last week till the halving, and then 2 more weeks for the quote unquote 50-week shakeout. Here, let me see if I do you guys count? Actually, no. Look, I guess it would have been yesterday. Oh no, it says April 24th. So yeah, I guess 11 more days. And then if you counted from the 13th, when it was the day that you had the access to the RPC, then it says that it would be April 24th. So in 2 weeks, guys, we start like pick out the last of it. So yeah, I hope you have a great weekend, guys. And like I always say, catch us on the next one, and we'll see you around the block.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for the
If you're a smart guy and you're not a dick, then it's really good to have influence over other people's lives and focus and patterns of behavior and, things that are running around in their head. It's better that you have that than the dumber, worse person. So if you're a good if you're more wholesome and better than other people, then you should try and lead, and you should try and have an impact, and you should try and influence. And if you're a piece of crap, I hope all your memes fail.